Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Comfortable out there this afternoon. A bit more cloud cover than yesterday. We'll see a high of 71 and variably cloudy. 56 overnight, so we begin our warm-up, and we'll see a high of almost 80 degrees tomorrow. We're still on track for 80s for Halloween Day.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company. Where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 63 points to 42,324.
Here's the snap. Pressure off the backside. Dalton floats one. End zone. Diontae Johnson. Back right corner. Hangs on. Touchdown, Carolina. Pocket holds. Andy fires downfield. 1-6. Touchdown. End zone. Center cut. Diontae Johnson. Here's the snap. Dalton throws for the end zone. Brought in by Diontae Johnson, who chucks the ball into the stands. A souvenir for a lucky fan in the 200.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. And what in the heck are the Carolina Panthers doing? I lost my voice last week. I got it back for this week. By the end of today's show, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, it might be gone again.
I am at a loss for what the Panthers are doing. If you didn't hear the news, about an hour ago, news broke that the Panthers were trading Diontae Johnson, their leading wide receiver, to the Ravens. I celebrated because the first bit of news we got just said, according to Adam Schefter, the Panthers are trading Diontae Johnson to the Ravens. I said, good. I said, finally. I said, they're taking an asset that is meaningful to a contender, that is not meaningful to a rebuilding team, and they are going to flip it for value. Then the compensation came through. It is Diontae Johnson and a 6th-round pick for a 5th-round pick. So in exchange for Diontae Johnson, they exchanged a 6th for a 5th. But it's not even that much. That's not enough. Because the Ravens are good. And guess what? They just got a free, really, really good number 2 wide receiver for pennies. They didn't have to give up a pick. They exchanged a pick and got a free, really, really good number 2 wideout. So they're good. They're going to be in the last 5 to 10 picks, at least, probably in the last 5 of a draft. So in the draft order, they'll be at the bottom. The Panthers, meanwhile, stink and just gave up one of their best players for pennies. They'll be drafting at the front of the round. So they gave up a very, very early 6th-round pick for a very, very late 5th-round pick. If you include the compensatory picks that can be between rounds, they traded up like 15 to 20 picks on day 3 of the draft. They said, if you take Diontae Johnson, we want to go from pick 178 to 164. It sounds good when you say 5th to 6th rounder, but when you put the numbers on it, the actual picks, it's nothing. It's the part of the draft where everyone's draft board varies wildly. It's not unusual to get someone you have a 5th round grade on as an undrafted free agent because everybody else didn't have the 5th round grade on them. It's not unusual for you to trade back in the 5th, 10, 20, 30 picks and get the guy you would have taken with the original pick because everyone's draft board varies greatly. You didn't get another pick. You didn't get a 5th round pick. You didn't get a 4th round pick. You didn't get a swap from the 3rd to the 6th. You swapped from the end of the 5th to the beginning of the 6th up. So from the beginning of the 6th to the end of the 5th would have been the right way to say that. From the player side, from the Diontae Johnson side, good. Get out of there. If you don't want to be here, get gone. You can't throw and catch yourself? Fantastic. Now you can go to a team and an offense that throws like occasionally. When they don't want to give the ball to Derrick Henry 25 times and when Lamar Jackson isn't tucking and running, yeah, you can split the rest with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers and now you. And Rashad Bateman. From the front office standpoint, what in the heck are you doing, Dan Morgan? What in the heck are you doing? I went back and looked at it. Since Dan Morgan became the assistant GM back in 2021, they've had an array of 5th and 6th round picks. Now, you may say, well, he wasn't the GM for many of those drafts. True, but you show me an assistant GM that can't stand on the table for a 5th or a 6th and get a player picked, and I'll show you an assistant GM that shouldn't be considered for the GM job when it's open. In 2024, Shaw Smith-Wade in the 5th and Jaden Crumedy, defensive lineman, in the 6th. I like Shaw Smith-Wade. So far,
I'm a big fan of his.
He's had a few flashes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to accelerate a rebuild. In 2023, they had a 5th round pick, Jamie Robinson.
He's a special teamer for him. Not
going to accelerate a rebuild. 2022, 6th round pick Amari Barno, 6th round pick Cade Mays. Depth pieces. 2021, 5th round defensive back Keith Taylor, 6th round offensive lineman Deontay Brown, 6th round wide receiver Shai Smith, 6th round long snapper Thomas Fletcher.
Oh, that was 100% a Matt Rule pick, by the way. That was 100%
You were
a Matt Rule
complicit.
pick.
You were an enabler. You're the assistant GM. Those are the players we're talking about in this draft. Jumping from a player like that to another player like that. And you gave up Diontae Johnson for it. I think you trade Diontae Johnson, but not for nothing. Goodness gracious. And it's a hot wide receiver market. Amari Cooper. Trades the flip is Amari Cooper and a 6th for a 7th and a 3rd. DeAndre Hopkins, a 2025 5th, that becomes a 4th. That becomes a 4th if he does like bananas and they win a whole bunch Super Bowl and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not a flip. That is just you get the 5th. What are we doing here? The Ravens aren't the team you trade him to. The Ravens don't need him. The Ravens don't throw the football that much. The Ravens have wide receivers that they like. The Ravens are the team you use as leverage. The Ravens are the team you let Houston, who just had Stephon Diggs, get hurt. You let the Niners, who just had Brandon Ayuk, get hurt. You let those teams know, hey, we're talking to the Ravens, so you're not bidding against nobody on this one. The Ravens are a tool in the negotiations, not the end game.
Or at least use other teams as the tool to get more out of the Ravens.
Somebody's got to be used somewhere because that's not enough. We've got a desk in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
Probably could sell it, right? We got nowhere in the house for it. Probably could sell it. A couple $100, we'd probably do it. Somebody calls me up and offers $3.50. That's better than the $0 I have for it right now, but it's still like, yeah, you know what? For that, I'm probably just going to keep him. If somebody calls up for Diontae Johnson and you're like, good, I've been trying to get this thing out of my garage. What's your offer? How close can you meet what I want? Well, I can offer you a 5th and 6th round pick swap from the end, from our end of the 5th round pick for your beginning of the 6th round pick. Fantastic. No, I'd rather just keep him. I'd rather just keep him.
Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer posted about 45 minutes ago that last week a lead source told the Observer that the Panthers' asking price was a third-round pick, but the Steelers essentially pegged Johnson's value as a sixth-round pick in their March swap with Carolina in the Diontae Jackson trade. And with 9 games left on his deal and only a trio of standout games, value for him didn't go up.
By the way, you brought up Diontae Jackson.
Yeah.
5th in the league with 3 interceptions.
Imagine that.
That's what you gave up to get Diontae Johnson.
I mean, they were planning on cutting Diontae Jackson. So it's like, I mean, it's crazy because we applauded that. Like, oh, you're going to cut Diontae Jackson and you got Diontae Johnson as a result of that. It's like, all right.
I like the move until you cashed it in for nothing.
So, yeah, basically, like, you swapped 6th and 7th to then swap for a 5th.
Yes.
That's all you did.
And you gave up Diontae Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, which some of you are going to plan on cutting anyway.
Which would have been a bad cut looking back at it.
Yeah, well,
with 2020 hindsight, the best thing they could have done is nothing.
Yeah.
This is bad roster management for a team that needs to win all of these deals to get caught up to the rest of the NFL.
It'd be one thing if they traded a 7th as opposed to a 6th. It's like, okay, you are jumping a full round plus.
So, yeah, if you were trading a 7th for a 5th.
That's fine. Okay.
There's
been all right with
30-some
that.
picks between there at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wouldn't like it. I'd rather just get a 6th. I'd rather just get a new pick. Give me another dart throw, not a dart throw 20 minutes before my dart throw.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand why.
This feels like, at least we did something.
Why does it go from Matt Rule to Frank Reich to Dave Canales and the offensive play calling is always bad? Why does it go from Fitterer to Dan Morgan and the moves are still bad? Why do the people change? Is it Tepper? Why do the people change, right? Why do the people change and the decisions stay bad? I'm at a loss trying to explain this. And by the way, we had the luxury. This news broke. Adam Gold, the show that airs right before ours, he had to react live on air. We had a half hour. I searched. I texted people. Why would they do this? What am I missing? Guess what I came up with? Nothing. This is the best answer in a group chat that's been debating it now for an hour. This is the best answer we've gotten. They are poorly run. It's not hard to understand. They are dumb. And everyone went, yeah, I think that is it. That's not the best way to make it happen. I'd rather just kept him. And if you want to argue, oh, he was being a malcontent, I agree. I didn't like what he was doing. I didn't like his comments in the media. But keeping him, what was he going to ruin? Was he going to take your 1-16 season and turn it into a 1-16? There's no place to go. You have to win every deal. This is a loss. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Luckily, if you are a fan, a sports fan in the state of North Carolina, you have the Canes. Because when the Panthers get you down, the Canes can pick you back up. Canes win in overtime last night. It was late. If you missed it, Sebastian Aho is a different kind of superstar this year. Stick around. Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tinted to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One Coat Hide Color Collection.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD, that's code TIMD with no spaces, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Natchez heads into the Vancouver zone. Natchez. He'll leave it for Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere finds Aho. He scores in overtime. Sebastian Aho, his 57th career game winner.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Sebastian Aho is a different kind of superstar this year. Matter of fact, those three individuals you just heard on that highlight, that was the game winner in overtime last night to round out a 5 wins and 6 games road trip for the Carolina Hurricanes. Those three, Natchez, Gostisbehere, and of course Sebastian Aho, I think are the 3 best surprises of this year. Natchez and Gostisbehere are easy. They're obvious. Natchez is one of the top scorers, point producers in the entire league, especially over the last 10 days. Gostisbehere, scoring goals at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
From the blue line.
Points left and right from that guy.
So you may be saying, how is Sebastian Aho the surprise? Well, that's true. I get it, right? It's hard to be surprised by the best player on the team. It's because of this. It's a different kind of best player on the team. Back on October 17th, right here on this show, we were talking about how different players can level up, what different players have to do to reach the next tier of whatever they're competing for, right? Maybe be a top 100 player in the league. Maybe be a top 50 player in the league. Maybe be a top 10 player in the league. And the question was, what does Aho need to be top 10? This was my answer. I think he needs, and for lack of a better term, more Heisman moments. I think he needs more things that'll get played on SportsCenter so people on the West Coast will see it. I think he needs more game winners. I think he needs that quintessential postseason run. That's what I was getting at. And that was actual, as you heard, I tried to jump in a little early. That was actual aired content on this show on October 17th. He needs more Heisman moments. He's been good for a long time. But he needs more Heisman moments. And the reason I call them Heisman moments is just because that's where I first heard the term, right? You're not going to win MVP of the entire country in college football if you don't have an awesome 10-second clip, right? Something that everybody can point to and go, yep, there it is. Lamar Jackson hurdling the guy. Johnny Manziel against Alabama, losing control of the ball, getting it back, scrambling out, throwing the touchdown. You need the Heisman moment. Reggie Bush cutting back on the sideline against Fresno. Aho has 2 of them in the first 8 games. Overtime winners in the last minute of the overtime period. He did it with 7 seconds left a handful of games ago. He did it with 50-something seconds left last night. Here's Aho on what he saw in the OT winner.
Typical OT, a lot of open ice. So Jordan did a great job winning the first draw, and I don't think we lost the puck ever since. So, then skill takes over when there's a little bit more open ice, and Netchi and Ghosty played nicely there and set up the goal.
Sebastian Aho is leveling up in the biggest minutes. We looked it up earlier today. Last season, he had 2 overtime goals. They were a good team. 2 overtime goals for him. Most in a season for Sebastian Aho, 3 overtime goals. In the first 8 games, he has 2 of them things already. This is the next evolution of Sebastian Aho, the superhero, the superstar, the level up. I can't wait to see what happens in the postseason for him. I can't wait to see it. And I'm not saying he's been bad in the past. He's been good in the past. Great at times. But there is something different when the light bulb comes on in the clutch moments. There is. We see it across sports. We see it across levels. Right? The stat-producing freshman becomes the shot knocking down in the clutch moments sophomore or junior. Sometimes it takes longer. Or senior. Sometimes it takes the longest. Sebastian Aho, up to his age 26 season last year, was really gosh darn good. To start this year, he's better. And that's with what? He actually has a minus plus minus.
Yeah, he's -1.
He's what, 8 points in 8 games?
Yep.
I would argue like from opening whistle to final buzzer, he's not playing his best hockey. But if you ask me to choose the first bulk of the minutes or the last 2, I'm taking the last 2. We've got horses that can play in the opening, right? We've got guys that can, when there's no pressure, they can go. The system can work. It's at the end when your superstars have to show up. Sebastian Aho is doing it this year. He's been, I believe, the most underrated superstar in the league, and I've said that from the moment I sat in this chair and started this show. He's the most underrated superstar in the league. This is how you lose that title. This is how you lose that title. Not saying you lose superstar, I'm saying you lose underrated. People will start noticing. And on top of that, it helped the team finish off a road trip that I think was important for the squad. Here's Sebastian Aho on the awesome finish to the road trip.
Great way to finish, obviously. Played really good hockey and against really good hockey teams. So, now we can build on this and kind of know how to, play winning hockey on the road. So, they made a nice push there, and they have a few special players there who, made nice plays. We just kept moving forward, and gladly we're able to win this game.
Now's the next step for Sebastian Aho. Now you go to Pyotr Kochetkov sitting in his locker and go, hey, man, let's not go on a cross-country trip outside the crease so I don't have to score in overtime to win that one. Right? Now you understand that you and Natchez and everybody that played well, as you heard him mention in the overtime period, you bailed out the team from a collapse. Now you go fix what led to the collapse. But goodness, it's good. Like, we're 1 or 2 more of these from Aho getting like the not quite here yet because he's got 3 rings, but the Mahomes feeling. You know what it is. Down 4, Mahomes takes over. There's 80 seconds on the clock. He's at his own 17-yard line. And you're just somehow like, you know what? He's going to find Kelsey 12 times, and then they're going to score. And it won't actually be 12, but it'll feel like 12. And he'll run for a couple first downs and get out of bounds. They'll probably hit him late. He'll pick up another 15. Like Sebastian Aho has to become that guy. We're going to overtime. The game's getting close. A 3-1 lead is now 3-3, or a 4-1 lead is now 4-3. Somebody needs the insurance goal. All right, let's get it to Sebastian Aho. Oh, there's a power play in a clutch moment. Let's get it to Sebastian Aho, which I think has always been the plan. He's just finding him to the back of the net. A little bit more consistency to start this season than he has in the past.
By the way, he had 2 overtime game-winning goals last year, did Sebastian Aho.
Most 3 in a season.
Yep.
He's got 2 in the first 8 games, which part of it is opportunity, right? If you don't go to overtime twice, you can't win twice.
Sure.
But 2 in the first 8 is 2 in the first 8
hey,
at the same darn time.
He's 2 for 2.
It's also true.
By the way, little fun side note here.
Love side
Remember
notes.
last week on Tuesday in Edmonton where he had the game-winning goal?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day we got the news of Bryce Young is going to start for Andy Dalton. And
Yes,
then
I
sure
did.
enough, Sebastian Aho gets an overtime game winner last night. We get the news today that the Carolina Panthers are trading Diontae Johnson. What is it about overtime game winners by Aho that causes the Carolina Panthers to do things?
So what you're saying is if you want the Panthers to shake things up, you just need Aho to score an overtime game winner in the final minute.
You know, I'm not going to sleep the next time this happens.
You think Tepper watches and just gets the adrenaline? Oh,
I
they're
think
having so much fun. Oh, we're doing something tomorrow.
Hey, nothing good happens after midnight, they say, right?
Calls up Canales or Morgan and says, make a splash tomorrow. Can't have these people talking about hockey. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'll tell you what, we can't have people talking about Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And the reason you should be talking about them is because we all know the interest rates, the markets right now. They're going to be up. They're going to be down. They're going to be up. They're going to be down. They're going to be down. They're going to be up. They're going to be – you can't predict them. It's an election year. There's a lot going on. But what you can predict is Miller Lending will be there to help you with a no closing cost loan. That means no costs. None out of your pocket. No third-party fees. No hidden costs. It's not rolled into something else. 0 means 0 at Miller Lending. And what that allows you to do is basically have peace of mind. You lock in a rate today. You don't have to worry about them dropping rates tomorrow and, oh, man, I wasted all those closing costs because you didn't pay any closing costs. Also, at the same time, you lock in your rate today, rates go up tomorrow. Well, yeah, you weren't waiting on rates to drop. You didn't have some friend of a friend of a friend that told you, oh, they're going to go down next week. No, you locked in your rate, so if they go up, no harm, no foul. It's really just a way to give you peace of mind so you don't have to worry about what the markets are doing at every step of the way, which we've all done at different points in time if you've ever bought a house. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online as well. The website is millerlending.com, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, all right, Diontae Johnson's been traded by the Panthers. If you're just tuning in, yeah, that happened. Diontae Johnson traded away for scraps to the Ravens. That has to mean Bryce Young's the starter, right? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
We know that Juan Soto loves playing on the big stage. He is a star that loves the spotlight. And you get that with either New York team. But with the Yankees, it's just a little different. Yeah. Wearing those pinstripes is just a little different. If Juan Soto has a comparable financial offer from the Yankees and the Mets, those are things that could influence that decision.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey Raleigh homeowners, this is Keith Gregory, Vice President with Baker Home Exteriors, but more importantly, a homeowner like you. I invite you to join the thousands who have trusted us to service and upgrade their homes. We treat every home as the sanctuary it is, transforming and preserving homes with roofing, siding, doors, decks, and window services for over a century. Trust our expert team for professional installation. Visit bakerroofing.com and schedule a time with our team.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. the company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Dauntless Transmissions in Raleigh is hiring. If you're an ASE certified automotive technician looking to make good money, have a guaranteed 40-hour work week, and get paid every Friday, check out this opportunity. Dauntless Transmissions is a small family-owned shop with a quality-first attitude in need of technicians with experience doing minor engine work. Happy to train the right candidate further on transmissions. If you're ready to be appreciated and duly compensated for your automotive abilities, call or apply now at dauntlesstransmissions.com.
Sarah Silverman, Postmortem Tour.
I have a girlfriend who told me she's switching gears career-wise and is now a life coach. Look, I'm not saying all life coaches are crazy, but I would maybe say that crazy people are life coaches.
Friday, November 8th, T-Pack. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's. Cheer on Duke football as they face off against the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday, November 23rd. This is the last home game in the regular season. Don't miss your chance to see the Blue Devils at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Tickets start at just $42. Add the Devil's Deck in-stadium experience to your ticket and receive exclusive access to the end zone tailgate space with all-you-can-eat food and drink. Tickets are available now at goduke.com/footballticks or by calling 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Earlier today, the breaking news of the afternoon, the Carolina Panthers traded Diontae Johnson to the Ravens. The deal consisted of Diontae Johnson and a 6th-round pick going to the Ravens, a 5th-round pick coming back to the Panthers. Now, Nick Corte is a Over the Cap contributor. Over the Cap is a website online that handles, you would have guessed it, salary cap and contracts and everything around the NFL. He does NFL contract analysis. The Ravens' 5th rounder is currently, this according to Nick Corte, currently around 158, and the Panthers' 6th rounder, their first in line as it stands right now, is currently around 177. So they traded Diontae Johnson for about 19 spots in order to acquire Diontae Johnson.
And the Panthers are also paying nearly $3 million of Diontae Johnson's salary the rest of the year. Ravens, I think, are going to owe him about $625,000 the rest of the year. This is according to a couple of different sources, including Joe Person of The Athletic, as well as
now
Jeff Rizerbeck. Zierbike, who covers the Ravens for The Athletic.
Shout out to Jeff R.
It's a Z. Zierbike.
Oh, Jeff.
Him
Z.
too.
It's a bad trade, okay? If you want all the full reasons, we broke down at the top of the show. I'm sure it'll be up on YouTube shortly.
It's already up.
It's already up on YouTube, so you can break all that down on why it is a bad trade. And we'll revisit it throughout the show. Now there's no wiggle room on the next conversation. It is no longer a question of opinion. It is a fact. Bryce Young has to be your starting quarterback moving forward. The correct decision is to play Bryce Young at quarterback for the Panthers. Andy Dalton might give you the best chance to win. You're not making decisions to win right now. You don't give up Diontae Johnson for 19 picks of movement on day 3 of the NFL draft. 19, I think that's optimistic. I think it's probably 15. Moving up 15 picks on day 3 of the NFL draft. You don't give up Diontae Johnson for that if you're worried about winning. I don't care that Andy Dalton gives you the best chance to win right now. Andy Dalton giving you the best chance to win and $8, that'll get you a coffee somewhere, I'm sure. Right now, go get the number 1 overall pick. Look what the Bears did with their number 1 overall pick a couple years ago. They found the sucker at the negotiation market, the Panthers, and changed their entire trajectory around. Go get that number 1 pick. Don't worry about winning. And if somehow, some way, somewhere along the way, you can save some value with Bryce Young, bonus. The Bryce Young I saw over the weekend, was he good? No. Was he so bad that you can't evaluate the rest of the roster? Also no. Oh, you don't want to lose the locker room by playing Bryce Young. Dave Canales, don't lose the locker room. That's on you. Be a coach. Keep them together. Talk to them. Give him a speech. Rile him up. Motivate him. I asked this weeks ago, and I'll ask, give me one good reason why Andy Dalton should start. After today, the reasons are gone. The reasons are no longer in existence. Go get the number 1 overall pick, and hopefully, fingers crossed, somebody will do what you did for the Bears and you will overpay for it. And if not, take the best player available, because those are the players, top of the draft, best available. Nailing those picks are the ones that accelerate a rebuild. Not 5th and 6th round pick swaps. It's no longer up for debate. It is Bryce Young's job. But guess what? Like, it's interesting. I just saw this, right? Because part of it is then they'd have to turn around and trade Bryce, right? If you don't like Bryce, which they don't, you can tell by their body language. If you don't like Bryce, you want to play him so he builds a little value so you can trade him and get actually something back in return. But guess what is the problem with that now? I don't trust this front office to get anything of value fairly back from the market. Jordan Schultz, NFL Insider. Sources, despite teams calling about them, the Panthers have no plans on trading cornerback J.C. Horn or running back Chuba Hubbard. Jordan Schultz's source says they're not having a fire sale. If you would have asked me 3 hours ago, should they sell Chuba Hubbard, I would have said yes. You ask me right now, I go probably not. Because if you can't trust yourself to get a fair return on the people you trade away, you probably shouldn't trade them away. I was gung-ho on selling Diontae Johnson. Now I have to be gung-ho against the deal you made because you got a 6th to 5th round pick swap with a team that is expected to be a Super Bowl contender, and you might be picking 1st overall. That's where it stands. Don't sell Chuba. Again, 3 hours ago, yeah, find a contender that needs a running back. Sell Chuba. Heck, you could even give him the wink, wink, nod, nod and say this offseason we'll come get you in free agency. Like whatever you want to do. Now, don't try to get fancy. Don't try to go into that market and say we got a J.C. Horn and we want to sell him, because you're going to come back from that market like, how the heck did I just get a high 5 and a 7th round pick and they walked away with J.C. Horn? You can't convince me. Can't. 0% convince me that you called the wide receiver needy teams and said, we're about to give up Diontae Johnson for a 15-pick difference on day 3 of the draft. Can you do better than that? Because one of them would have. One of them would. I don't even think the Ravens really want this deal. You look at the Ravens, they got Zay Flowers, they have Mark Andrews, they have Isaiah Likely, they have Derrick Henry, they have some running backs coming back off IR. Keaton Mitchell last year was electric. They have Lamar Jackson who can get it done by himself. They have Rashad Bateman who's been emerging over the last 3 weeks. I just think they couldn't pass up a deal. They said, we only got 2 rooms that need a TV. We have 2 TVs, but if you're selling one for $4, yeah. I don't know. I'll put one in the bathroom. So building up the value, part of the reason I think you should have been playing Bryce Young the last few weeks is to build up the value in a trade. Now I think you just build it up to get undercut in the market because you can't negotiate anyway. It is a rough spot right now. It is a rough spot right now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Should we talk a little Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones? Should we palate cleanser here?
I mean, you talk about getting great value. If you look at Russell Wilson, the deal that Pittsburgh got for him, which was nothing.
And barely paying him any money.
You talk about a bad deal, you look at Daniel Jones.
Well, we could talk about that. Part of the reason why you play Bryce Young is because if he goes on a magical 8-game stretch where he gets the zone, like Will Ferrell in Old School at the debate, blacks out and just says the right thing, you can. There was a point in time where you probably could have traded Daniel Jones for like a first-round pick. Giants didn't. Instead, they gave him $40 million a year. But you pay the guy, even the one with flaws. Kind of what the Giants did. Listen, what's the difference between Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones? What's the difference? Last night, right, Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson won. The Giants did not. Daniel Jones completed 63% of his passes. Russ completed 71%. But if you watch the game, Russ got a little more help with tough catches from his wide receivers. George Pickens made some tough catches. Malik Neighbors didn't. They threw for roughly the same amount of yards, 264 versus 278. They both lost touchdowns to penalties. What was the difference? Ironically, we talked about it yesterday on the show. Somebody called in and said, why does every team have 100 ways that they can beat you and the Giants have like 3? And my response was because your quarterback, Daniel Jones, doesn't throw enough touchdowns. He makes a few decent plays a game. Usually up until crunch time, he doesn't make any big mistakes. Usually then he makes a couple. But he doesn't finish drives in the end zone. And sure enough, what was yesterday? Field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, until eventually the Steelers started scoring. Daniel Jones, and I'll use a cross-sport analogy because the World Series is going on. He's a guy that never hits with runners in scoring position. He might hit like 290 on the year, but he's 140 with runners in scoring position. Russ, I don't think Russ is what he used to be. I know he had a little bit of a throwback night last night. People are, it's the best I've seen him since 2001 or 2021. Sorry, not 2001. But the guy gets hits with runners in scoring position. He throws the moon ball to George Pickens and it feathers in over the top when they need a completion. He also throws a couple where it looks like his arm is completely shot and it skips into a guy 10 yards away from him, like he's skipping rocks. When that guy gets in scoring position, right, when he got a runner on second and he's coming to the plate, it might not be the hardest hit ball in the world, but it's a seeing eye single and he's coming around for the RBI. It's why, and I say this often, it's why evaluating the quarterback position is darn near impossible. Going into the game last night, Daniel Jones is faster at this point in their careers, probably has a stronger arm at this point in his career, taller. Right? The things that you measure at the combine, Daniel Jones is better in all of them. But Russell has, and he's got a Super Bowl. He has that thing that you can't evaluate with anything but you got to look him in the eye when there's 2 minutes on the clock and you're down 7. Which, by the way, is, I believe, the thing they missed on Bryce Young with the Panthers. I don't think he's failing because he's short. I don't think he's failing because his arm isn't strong enough. There's something about him between the ears that the confidence runs away very, very quickly when things have gone wrong in the NFL. Instead of fury to fix it, instead of diving in to fix it, it goes the other way. And I don't know if you can evaluate that pre-draft. I know you try. I know you're going to call like the janitor at your middle school to see if they were a nice guy and see if they wanted to open the weight room before school. I know you're going to ask all of that, but it's not that easy. The difference between Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones right now, at this point in their career, because don't get me wrong, Russ had all the physical tools 10 years ago. The difference between them right now is the reason why it's so darn hard to evaluate quarterbacks. It's the reason why it is so darn hard to evaluate quarterbacks. It's the reason why Andy Dalton is better than Bryce Young right now. And I'm not shying away from that. I believe Andy Dalton gives you the best chance to win right now if you're the Panthers. I just don't think that's the main priority in making your decisions right now. Right? Andy Dalton, for lack of a better term, we've seen him do it for a decade. 11-year starter in the NFL. Bryce Young, we've never seen it. Well, he did have a couple game-winning drives last year. I shouldn't say never. It's just been few and far between. Also, Dexter Lawrence is still a monster. Just throw that out there. From Wake Forest, defensive lineman for the Giants. He is so good.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a beast. It stinks that he's on a bad team. I will say that Giants' defensive front is pretty good, though.
Very good.
Even with Kayvon Thibodeau out.
Playing, yep.
Yeah. It's still pretty solid defensive front up there.
I want to make sure he is still the leader. Just to make, because this stat is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to, after the week, you got to kind of pay attention, make sure. He is still the leader. He is the NFL leader in sacks with 9. Next closest, Will McDonald of the Jets with 8. I believe Dexter Lawrence is listed at like 320. I think he's probably closer to like on ESPN he's listed at 340. I believe the highest listed weight of anyone that's led the NFL in sacks is 305.
Okay.
He is 340 pounds, according to ESPN.
That is a large individual.
That's a big boy moving.
That is a large individual.
That is a big boy moving. But they did lose, and Russell Wilson did scramble around. So, big boy got to move a little bit faster. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, the breaking news of earlier today. Diontae Johnson traded from the Panthers, and he's traded to the Ravens. Maybe at some point, somewhere down the line. I will be able to explain why. But I can't do it right now. So instead, let's talk a little baseball. Actually, we can relate it all back.
Yeah.
World Series. What's the difference between Freddie Freeman and Aaron Judge?
One hits and the other doesn't.
One, when the moment gets big, appears to be doing all the right things. The other, when the moment gets big, appears to shrink, despite the fact that he might be the biggest human in baseball. That's Aaron Judge. I don't think it's quite fair for Aaron Judge because baseball, as I say so often, is a big sample size sport, and then we create legacies based on how you do in like 20 games. When you can have a 20-game stretch at any point in the season where you're a little down. But it's the way it is. Can't really change it for you. It's just how it goes. Freddie Freeman has 3 home runs in 3 games, and his team's up 3-0, and it's probably over for the Yankees. And Aaron Judge is just up there fanning everybody, making sure they're cool with the breeze from his bat. And best players get records attached to their name, and losses and championship environments stick with you for the rest of your career, especially in a place like the Bronx. But the Dodgers appear to be one of those teams that are just comfortable in the moment. Freddie Freeman, chief amongst them. It's a fun time, though. Yankees need to win a game, I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Just for the entertainment factor. A sweep stinks in those moments.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at the Yankees and just the amount of stars that they have, and you bring up that question. It's like, all right, are you just having do you just have a bad time?
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, you had You picked a bad time to have a bad time. I picked the worst day to have a bad day. Hey, this is the worst time you can have a bad time. Because like you said, Aaron Judge isn't doing anything. This is the reason why you pay this guy to be so much is for these types of moments. Now, maybe that's also a byproduct of these guys really haven't been there, with the exception of Juan Soto, who's been there, done that. And sure enough, he has a home run in this series. Back in Game 2, but obviously it's not enough. Pitching's been awesome for the Dodgers, by the way. The Yankees didn't score their 2 runs until the bottom of the 9th inning. I was like, all right, well, you're now 4-0. Like, oh, look, a little 2-run homer. Yeah, okay, then the game's over.
I have to be honest with you.
I had the split screen up last night.
That's a good way to describe it. I have a split screen going up right now. We're trying to talk about Monday Night Football. We're trying to talk about the World Series.
Yeah.
The other screen that's on in my brain right now is just completely flabbergasted with the Diontae Johnson trade.
So I just posted this on X. I know you'll probably be curious on this. The timeline of the Panthers trades involving Diontae Johnson. So back in, it was March, so this is before the draft, the Panthers traded cornerback Diontae Jackson and a 2024 6th-round pick for Diontae Johnson with the Steelers and a 2024 7th coming back. So it was a 6-7 pick swap.
Okay.
With that 7th-round pick, the Panthers drafted Michael Barrett, linebacker out of Michigan. During training camp, back in August, the Panthers traded Michael Barrett to Seattle for corner Mike Jackson. And then the Panthers obviously today traded Diontae Johnson and a 2025 6th for Baltimore's 2025 5th-round pick.
All right.
So the Panthers, after all of this, end up with Mike Jackson and a 2025 5th-round pick from Baltimore. So all this, you got rid of Diontae Jackson, you swapped a 6th and a 7th, you had Diontae Johnson come in, you had Diontae Johnson come out, you end up with Mike Jackson and a 5th.
I don't love this
all of that
for quite a few reasons. One, you're running in place, right? 2, you did have value at least one point in time. And you can go back. This is not 2020 hindsight. Okay, this is not me looking at it and saying, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. This is me saying at the time, I definitely would have. When Diontae Johnson was he had an 80-yard game and a 100-yard game back to back, and he had a touchdown in each, I was saying trade him. And what did everybody say? No, they wanted Andy Dalton to get an extension. They wanted Diontae Johnson to be the number 1 for the future. And why did I want to trade him? Because the guy's not going to turn into a 1,800-yard wide receiver. It was sell high. Look around. He was on the Panthers. You buy low, you sell high. The Panthers bought low. He went to a high value, came back down low, then sold him. In which case, you might as well hold on to it. You still got a week. There's some players with injuries. Maybe they'll get desperate. You had to pounce when the market was there, and it's not there anymore. Obviously, it better not have been there because I mean, if there was still a good market for him and you got what you got, then you didn't get enough.
I mean, honestly, it just seems like they just wanted to get rid of him. It seemed like, you know what? This guy, clearly he's being what he was in Pittsburgh in terms of the diva, like, hey, I can't play every position. This guy, guess what? Now he's being toxic in our locker room. Fine, let's just get rid of the guy. That's what this feels like.
I hear that. I do.
That's what it feels like.
I don't agree with it. What was he going to ruin? You got a locker room cancer. What season was he going to tarnish?
Well, I think it's about tarnishing the mentality of guys like Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker. I think that's one of the reasons why Pittsburgh wanted him out, because the impact he was having on George Pickens.
I don't think I'm overreacting. I don't think this is the anger talking. Send him home. If you think him just being in the locker room is going to somehow negatively affect Xavier Legette, I'd rather send him home and see what and say, you can seek a trade. Tell his agent, you can seek a trade. Don't come to the facility, and see if he can, because 15 picks on day 3 is not enough for me. I'd rather have the satisfaction of knowing he's not playing the rest of the year going into a contract season, going into a contract off season, than if he's that bad of like a dude in a locker room cancer. I'd rather have that satisfaction. Send him home. Say, no, you have until the trade deadline to give us something we'll accept, or else you're just sitting at home the rest of the Then Dan Morgan doesn't even have to be the negotiator. He can go let the agent do it. You come back with a deal that I accept, or else you're sitting at home for the rest of the season, and you're going to go into a contract off season with how many yards and everything you have right now. I can bring up the stats right here. With 357 yards and 3 touchdowns and a roughly 50% catch percentage, 58 targets and 30 receptions. That's what you get. And I do think some of the stuff I'm saying sounds like, you know the feeling, right? Your buddy is out and he comes back and he's like, man, that guy just called me a name. And you're like, why didn't you fight him? It's so easy to say when you're not the one that would have to go into the fight, right?
Yeah.
So I get that, like, playing this kind of hardball with one of your better players sounds like me going, why didn't you knock him out? You're a GM in the NFL. You kind of have to be willing, like, we also have that friend that says, why didn't you knock him out? And we're like, he definitely would have knocked him out. Like, that has to be you, Dan Morgan. By the way, you are Dan Morgan. Don't forget that either. You were the player that would knock you out. 15 picks on day 3. Moving up 15 picks on day 3 of the draft. That's what you traded Diontae Johnson for. I'd rather sit in my original pick, send him home, and say, you're a cancer. You're a locker room cancer. And I don't think that's me talking tough from the other room. I think that's real.
I also wonder what Diontae Johnson, he has a $10 million cap hit. I think if that comes off your books, does that help your cap situation next year because you can roll that over possibly? Maybe there's a little bit of that's factoring into it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out reasons to justify this.
I've been racking my brain.
Yeah.
I told you I have that split screen. I got one screen on whatever we're talking about. The other one is got like the guide up, and I'm just clicking through it looking for answers. It's all reruns. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football 4 is coming up next, presented by Wake Med. And you know, I'll actually say this still, even with this bad trade for the Panthers. Could be worse. Stick around.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, Pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity line of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. Free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Variably cloudy skies for us this afternoon and high temperatures close to normal. We'll see a high of 71. Not quite as chilly tonight. We'll see a low of 56 and lots of sunshine for it tomorrow. We start a pretty big warm up. We'll see a high near 80 degrees.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 146 points to 42,241.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Panthers made a bad trade today. Traded Diontae Johnson and a 6th-round pick for a 5th-round pick from the Ravens. Those two picks, the 5th and the 6th, won't be that far apart because the Ravens are good. They'll be at the back of the 5th round. The Panthers are not good. They will be at the front of the 6th round. Compensatory picks in between. For Football at 4 today, presented by Wake Med, I'm going to say something I think is pretty bold. Get the bell and buzzer out, right? This one's going to get a bell. Could be worse, Panthers. It could be worse, Panthers fans. And here's why I say that. And there's really no way to jump in this, huh? There is a email in my inbox right now. I'm going to read you part of it. And it's a response from a Cal football fan and basketball fan that lives in the area. And it is in response to the podcast I host, which is Pack Therapy, hosted with Mike Glennon, former State quarterback. And it's called Pack Therapy because State fans need the pack therapy, right? They need to go through and suffer through some things, the ups and downs, the roller coaster together. This is what the emailer, a Cal fan, sent to me. Dear Mr. Donnelly, I've listened to the State fans complain about how sporting life has been tough for them over the years. You even host a show called Pack Therapy. Listening to this stuff is what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, cute. You have no idea how bad things can get. I went to Cal. In case you're not aware, let me introduce you to our house of horrors. Our main rival, other than Stanford, is FUCLA. Hilarious. They literally stole our colors, stole our mascot, stole our fight song. Every time they scored in football, we had to hear it. We're probably the only school in the country that boos our own fight song. While Washington was beating us 18 straight times in football, FUCLA was also beating us 18 straight times. It goes on and on. This is probably 2,000 words. Aaron Rodgers, why he didn't do well at Cal. The basketball team hasn't won a national championship since the 40s. At one point, he talks about one of their coaches unzipping his pants because they were going to have a let's see who's bigger competition with a reporter at the podium. Yeah. And it got me thinking. There's a good, healthy dose of perspective for State fans, right? It's like, hey, there are more tormented that don't have the Final Four from a season ago, that haven't won a national championship in as recently as 83, is a good dose of perspective. So I thought we could do the same for the Panthers. Because I'm sure right now it feels like it's the opposite of the hardballs, right? The hardballs are, who's got it better than us? Nobody. That's what Jim and John are always saying because it's what their dad said to them. I'm sure for the Panthers it feels like, who's got it worse than us after this trade? Nobody. But what about this? The Panthers have never won a Super Bowl. I'm sure that hurts. I'm sure that stings. Probably sitting there going, yeah, nobody can do better than never having won a Super Bowl. Well, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, and Jacksonville have never made it to a Super Bowl. Haven't even been in the room where it happens. Better to have loved and lost than to have never have loved at all. Panthers made it to 2 Super Bowls. Bryce Young appears to be a huge bust from the top 5 picks of the 2023 NFL Draft. But at least he never asked to come out of the game because he is tired. That would be Anthony Richardson, his fellow top 5 pick from the same draft, who, by the way, was benched today for Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, you might not like him. You might not think he's very good. He's not tapping his helmet and saying, Coach, I need to come out of an NFL game playing quarterback because I'm a little winded.
Yeah, he also didn't throw 2 of 15.
In the first half?
Yeah.
The Panthers are still upset they traded away Christian McCaffrey and still upset they traded away DJ Moore. But the Titans let Derrick Henry walk away for nothing, and he might run for 2,000 yards this year with the Ravens. And on top of that, a few years before, the Titans traded away A.J. Brown, who's still a beast for the Eagles. It could be worse. The Panthers have a nearly impossible chance of making the playoffs this year, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Yeah, that's bad. But the Saints have a nearly impossible chance of making the playoffs, according to ESPN's Football Power Index, and they have negative $72 million in cap space next year.
Bruh.
And there's really no easy way to get under the cap. They got a whole bunch of guys that if they cut, they save like $2 million. It's a really, really ugly situation for the Saints. Panthers aren't living large. They don't have the most cap space to spend, but they have $41 million in cap space to spend. That's over a $100 million difference in cap space between them and the Saints. It could be worse.
Good on-air math.
Thank you. I just said over 100 because I don't want to get into the details.
Still accurate.
Keep it in ballpark. Talking all estimates here. It could be worse. It could be worse. 10 teams right now, which is over 30% of the NFL. 10 teams right now have 2 wins or fewer heading into Week 9. The Panthers, 1 win. The Titans, 1 win. The Jets, 2 wins. The Patriots, 2 wins. The Jags, 2 wins. The Browns, 2 wins. The Raiders, 2 wins. The Giants, 2 wins. The Saints, 2 wins. And the Dolphins, 2 wins. Coming up on the halfway point of the season, over 30% of the league has 1 or 2 wins this season. The Panthers, yes, it's bad. Yes, I spent the first hour of this show getting very, very angry about a trade you made that was not very good. And I'm still angry. I haven't quite come down off that one. But at least the Panthers were sellers. At least they understood it was high time to look to the future. The Jets bought a wide receiver at the trade deadline, who, by the way, is over 30 years old and has a $45 million cap hit next year. That's Devontae Adams. There are bad things going around. It could be worse. It could be worse. And a healthy dose of perspective is always a good thing. Healthy dose of perspective is always a good thing. By the way, I'm not saying don't complain. I'm with you. I'm not saying don't air your frustrations. I'm with you. You should be frustrated. Be fanatical. You are a fan. I get it. I actually don't know if the Panthers have it worse. You know what could be worse? You know what? This might be the best way to describe it. This year could be bad. It's not as bad as last year.
Oh, we could have that debate.
At least you own your first-round pick.
That's true. There is that.
At least you're going to stink and you're going to get the benefit, the thing the NFL builds in to ensure parity that the worst teams can get better. Last year you were the worst team and you didn't have that thing that the NFL puts out to make sure you can get better. This year you do. I mean, at least if you're going to stink, you got to get the benefit of the first-round pick. That is if Dan Morgan doesn't trade it away for scraps before the deadline. Justin Fields, first-round pick. Anthony Richardson, first-round pick.
By the way, the Panthers now have 3 fifth-round draft picks.
Good, because they do really, really well drafting in the 5th round. And by that, I mean maybe one contributor.
Shaw Smith-Wade.
Yep.
Okay, 5th rounder. So, yeah, Panthers, as they sit right now, have their own first-round pick. They have the Rams 2nd, their own 3rd, their own 4th, their own 5th, the Giants 5th, and now the Ravens 5th. They no longer have their own 6th, but they also own their own 7th, unless that pick is lower than Arizona's. But they also have Arizona's 7th, unless that pick is lower than Carolina. It's weird. And they also have the Chiefs' 7th. So, anyway, they're going to get 2 7ths as well.
They're going to get 2 7ths as well.
So 9 picks.
Oh, never mind. All my panic. I didn't realize they had the extra 7th.
Yeah, 9 picks. 9 picks is what they currently have in 2025.
Goodness gracious. I mean, if you hit the best 5th rounder in the last bunch of drafts, sure, then maybe there's something to get excited about.
Yep.
But if you hit the other 30-plus picks in a 5th round and not the best, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Could have been a 7th and a 6th round pick swap. Could be worse. Might not have been a 5th and a 6th. Could be worse. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. At least Dennis and I both hit our ladder challenge bets yesterday. We're still cruising. We're nearing the end of the month. Who will win? Out of Dennis and I, stick around to find out. Ladder challenge coming up.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before Dennis and I try to extend our ladder challenge, I have a keyword for you that could potentially win you some tickets to see stand-up comedian Sarah Silverman at DPAC on November 8th. The keyword is silver. You have to text that word in, just the keyword silver, S-I-L-V-E-R, to 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Sarah Silverman at DPAC next month. It's really actually like, 10 days. So there you go. Keyword silver, number to text it to, 919-860-5326. My numbers game hit last night. It was an easy hit on the over of a well-teased down over-under, the total, on the Monday Night Football game. So appreciate the Giants in Pittsburgh for coming through for me.
Look at you hitting your ladder challenge.
Hitting my ladder challenge. You did as well.
I did. I had Jack Eichel, 2+ shots on goal.
So I
nailed it.
The ladder challenge for those of you
I'm sorry, Zach Hyman. Jack Eichel was my other day.
There you go. For those of you that maybe are listening today because you're excited about the Diontae Johnson trade, want to hear our reaction, the ladder challenge, Dennis and I each put $10 in. We try to hit a likely to hit bet. This is a thing online. You try to hit like a -800, -1,000 bet every day, rolling over your winnings. Supposedly, if you go like 25, 30 days in a row, you end up with a whole bunch of money, having multiplied your money a bunch of times over. We have yet to go on a long streak, so we've made it a competition where we both do it until the end of the month, and whoever gets the most money out of it at the end is the winner. We both had to restart a few times because we've lost.
Mm-hmm.
As it sits right now, I have $15.60. I'm on like a 4 or 5 day streak. What are you up to, Dennis?
Let's see. I am currently up to, you said 16?
$15.60.
Oh, yeah, I'm at $14.40.
All right. We have a new bet for today. You go first again. I like when you go first. Lead off.
Let's see. The Minnesota Wild take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Matthew Boldy playing in this game. Matthew Boldy, 2+ shots on goal, -550.
Oh, you're getting a little aggressive.
Yeah.
Got to make up some ground, you feel? You think I'm gonna ride this out all the way to the end?
Well, it's something you got to do. But you know what? Minnesota, Matt Boldy puts a lot of shots on net. He's averaging just over 3 shots on goal a game. So you know what? This feels good. 2+. I like it.
I'm going to
against Pittsburgh, who's not that good.
I'm going to the NBA. They aren't playing well. I did notice
They're not that good.
I'm going to the NBA. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves are playing Dallas tonight.
All right.
Anthony Edwards, 30+ points plus rebounds plus assists. 2 reasons. One, he has easily hit the over in every game this season.
Okay.
So trending in the right direction. 2, Anthony Edwards is playing against Dallas, which means Luka. And Edwards seems like the type of competitive player that hunts stars that people think are better than him and wants to have big games against them. He's got that thing, like his character in Hustle, starring himself and Adam Sandler. So I think he's going to be out for blood a little bit. He's going to be more aggressive than usual. I think he scores 30+.
Okay.
So 30+ points plus rebounds plus assists is all just built-in cushion. So go ahead and give me that. If it hits, it's minus 900. If it hits, I'll have $17.30 to roll over tomorrow.
Let's see. If mine hits, I would have $17 straight.
So I'd still have a 30-cent lead, but it'd be coming down on the wire.
I would be.
So there you go. That's the ladder challenge. We will keep you updated on it. When mine hits, I'll roll it over tomorrow. Dennis might be starting over. Let's go ahead and jump into Copper Drop.
You have little faith. You want true enlightenment? Well, I find your lack of faith disturbing, Tim.
Well, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. You got to lean towards the wire. I'm trying to get in your head. It is time for Copper Drop, though. This is where Dennis sets up topics, takes, the lot of it. And I say whether I'm copping or dropping and do my best to explain why.
All right, cop or drop. Diontae Johnson was traded. Cop or drop. Adam Thielen's the next one to get moved for the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop. Currently out right now with the hamstring injury, though he did return to practice last week.
This one's tough. The reason being, I don't think... Well, first of all, you know what? No, I'm dropping it.
Okay.
I'm dropping it. You know why? Because I hope that Dan Morgan and the Panthers reached out to all the wide receiver needy teams before they traded Diontae Johnson. And the fact that the best they could possibly get was a 5th and 6th round pick swap that they ended up with. If they go back to those same teams, they have to keep the facade up, right? They have to go. Diontae Johnson's a better player than Adam Thielen right now. Younger, more productive, more healthy, all of it. They can't then turn around and be like, all right, we'll give you more than what we gave you for Diontae, or offer you more than what we gave you for Diontae, and they can't possibly offer less. What would it be? The 7th and 6th round pick swap?
Or just a straight 6th?
I would rather have a straight 6th than the 5th and 6th round pick swap. I think Adam Thielen brings back less on the open market than Diontae Johnson, and I don't know what less could be. So I don't think you can trade him.
Thielen does have one more year left on his contract, so I don't know if teams would see value in that. It's like, hey, we can get this guy not only for the remaining 8-9 games, but we can also still keep him next year as well. Or there's probably is a way that, hey, we can get out of this thing if we want to. So I don't know, there might be value in that. I would actually like Pittsburgh to make a move for Adam Thielen.
The benefit to having the oldest wide receiver in the NFL is that he's under contract beyond this year.
Hey, and up until he got hurt, still productive.
Well, that's what every old wide receiver is. Up until they get hurt, they're productive.
Well, there's that, I guess.
He is 34 years old. There's nobody in the NFL that plays wide receiver that is even 33, according to StatMuse right now.
Yeah, I think
Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Robert Woods, Devontae Adams, they're all 32. Adam Thielen is 34. I don't think he brings in much in the open market, and if the Panthers could only get that much for Diontae Johnson, I don't know how they even get anything offered for Adam Thielen. A high five?
I mean,
just let him go because you like him, right? Just like we're gonna
do you a solid.
We're just gonna waive you because you deserve to go play for a contender. That's what they're gonna walk away with. It's like they're gonna end up walking away having given up Adam Thielen and a 4th for a 5th. They're gonna end up pick swapping in the wrong direction. As somebody else gets your second best wide receiver.
All right, next one. Cop or drop, Jadeveon Clowney gets traded.
No, I'm going to drop it.
Okay.
I'm going to drop it.
You think Johnson's the only one that they ended up moving?
I mean, according to Jordan Schultz, who's an NFL insider, his sources, Panthers were adamant it is not a fire sale. I would have a fire sale if I were the GM, but if they're not going to, I mean, if you're saying it's not a fire sale, there's got to be something you keep. Something that somebody else wants that you keep, which means Chuba, J.C. Horn, and probably Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not even sure people want Jadeveon Clowney. He's good against the run, don't get me wrong. I just don't know if, bringing him in, the contenders, I don't know. Josh Uche didn't get much, and he's a at least high upside edge rusher. I mean, I'm at a loss.
All right. Well, I'm going to shift your focus here to college basketball. All right.
Thank you.
So I'll let you I'll let you close that one NFL screen off you, and we'll bring you here to college basketball. Because guess what? Season tips off Monday, Tim. Cop or drop, RJ Davis repeats as ACC Player of the Year.
Wow, you're going right there with it.
Going right there with it, Tim. Going heavy with it.
I mean, the betting, like the smart money is on one of two people.
Yeah.
It's RJ Davis or it's Cooper Flag. The reason why I'm not just slamming RJ Davis, he would have been my preseason pick. I think he's kind of but the reason why I'm not just automatically going, this is easy, RJ Davis, is because RJ Davis is now being judged off of last season's RJ Davis. And we've seen players get messed over by that in the past, where you have to outdo yourself or else everybody gets tired of it, they get bored of it, and they look elsewhere. I still think it's probably RJ Davis. I still think it's probably, yeah, so I'm copping. The reason being, Armando Bacot isn't there anymore, so there's going to be a lot of shots for RJ Davis.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
I think he's going to put up more points per game, and that'll be enough to give him ACC Player of the Year.
Okay. Brian on our YouTube chat thinks Cooper Flag is going to win ACC Player.
I get it, and this might be one, and I'll openly say it. You ask me tomorrow, it might be different. I think it's that close. But you asked me right now. You didn't ask me tomorrow. So, RJ Davis.
All right, cop or drop. NC State, Duke, and North Carolina men's basketball all reached the Sweet 16 again this season. Cop or drop?
Gosh, my heart wants to say yes. I'm dropping it. That's just tough. You couldn't give me any three teams in the country. You could give me UConn, Kansas, and I don't even know who the other top.
Kentucky.
You could give me the three best teams, and I would still say no. It's just. And part of this is why last year was so darn impressive.
Because it just doesn't happen.
It's not easy. It doesn't. It's just wildly difficult. And to do it in back-to-back years would be unbelievable. So yeah, I'm out on it, but I'm rooting for it. I want it to happen, and I will be just as excited this year as I was last year if it does happen.
I think they'll all make the tournament, though.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they all make the tournament. And I'll actually, without the theatrics of last year, I think the programs are in good spots.
Okay, cop or drop. One of UNC, Duke, or NC State wins the ACC regular season. Cop or drop.
You said all three teams in the triangle?
One of those three wins the ACC regular season.
Normally I say it's always smart to take the field, but not if you're giving me those three teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them wins the regular season. And I mean, if you would have given me just UNC and Duke, I probably still would have taken it. But if you throw in the NC State potential magic of Kevin Keats doing it again, I'm definitely taking it. Here's the thing that I'm struggling with the national perception of the ACC. The national perception of the ACC for men's basketball right now is Duke and Carolina are well above everybody else. Then there's just loads and loads and loads of space and other teams and Big Ten teams and SEC teams and Big 12 teams and Group of 5 teams and loads and loads of space, and then the rest of the ACC. I think the rest of the ACC is better than a lot of teams in other conferences that they are not being given credit of being better than. That's not to say I don't think Duke and UNC, in whatever order you have them, are well above everybody else. So I do believe those two teams are outlandishly more talented than the rest of the ACC, which is why I believe in a regular season, big sample size, right? You can have off games and still end up near the top of the standings. I think one of them will win the ACC regular season, and NC State is just because you offered it, I'm not going to turn it down.
That's fair. Okay, cop or drop. Let's actually shift our focus here, Tim, to college football. We know Duke has qualified for a bowl game. Cop or drop, after getting wins in their most respective games, or most recent games, UNC and NC State both make bowl games.
Yes, I'm copping.
Okay. Both at 4-4.
This is me having to stand on what I've said previously, and it's you gotta be careful not to flip-flop in this business because people will get you. Going into the Cal game, I said if they make it for NC State, I said if they win that game, that makes them likely to make it to a bowl game. I said the same thing for UNC last week against Virginia. For very, very different storylines, very, very different pathways. They both won those games, right? NC State with the dramatic comeback on the West Coast at Cal. Needed the freshman quarterback to lead a game-winning drive. Needed Cal to miss the 28-yard field goal. They won. So I'm going to have to stick to what I said previously and say they won, so they're likely to make a bowl. UNC decided to just absolutely stomp UVA. No doubter. Dominated defensively, dominated on the offensive end. So, yes, I just stand on what I said previously and say they're likely to make a bowl game. So, I'm with it for both of them now.
Cop or drop, Mac Brown will be back next year for the UNC Tar Heels. Cop or drop.
He will be back next year?
Yes.
I don't like calling for people's jobs. I don't think he's back next year. I think it'll be painted as a mutual decision. Even with them now, I believe, likely to make a bowl game, doesn't make this season a success, right? It makes it not as much of a disaster. It gives you the proper send-off. Here's the way I think we'll see it happen. After the regular season, maybe the next day, maybe the day after, there'll be a mutual statement between Mac Brown and his family and the University of North Carolina Athletic Department. It will say that Coach Brown is transitioning to a administrative role. Could be some kind of ambassador. Could be some kind of, consultant to the athletic director. And he will be aiding in the search for the next coach. They will have the next coach chosen by the bowl game, and Mac Brown will coach. It'll be his goodbye. The next coach will be up in the suite watching the game, and that's how it's going to go. I'm not sure if Mac Brown wants to leave, but that's how I see it happening.
Okay, final one here. Cop or drop? Going to shift our focus here to the Carolina Hurricanes, Tim.
Thank you. Let's get some optimism
because they
out
win,
in this
and that's always fun. Cop or drop that the Carolina Hurricanes will make a trade for a top 6 forward at some point this season. Cop or drop?
Top 6 forward. You know what? I'm gonna drop it.
Oh, really? Okay, dropping it.
I always think you can get better at the deadline, so I'm always kind of in favor of it. But they traded for Jake Gensel last year and kind of got burned.
That's the reason why they don't like trading for rentals.
And I see them this year going, you know what? Let's get back to our ways. I also, and I've said this in the past, I like some of the young guys. I think they want to have space for them. And you look at Jarvis, you look at Aho, you look at Svetch, you look at some of these guys, they're not going anywhere. And if you want to have a top 6 forward spot for a Jackson Blake, you can't go fill up the top 6 forward spots. Not to say that they're like locked in with all of them, but I like the way Kokaniemi's playing this year. I like the way Martin Necas is playing this year. I would love to see Jackson Blake get some top 6 forward minutes, more of them. I just think there's not the need this year. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and cut Copper Drop there and talk about what the Canes have proven thus far. They just went on a road trip for the State Fair. State Fair's in town. They got to get out of their digs, right, out of their facility. So they go 13 days on the road through Canada, through the West Coast. They went 5-1 on that road trip. 10 points earned out of a possible 12 total. That is dominant. That is absolutely dominant. Rod Brindamore was asked how big it was to win 5 of 6 on the road trip. Here's the head coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's good teams. That's what for me, it's a good measuring stick. When we played Calgary, they hadn't lost. These guys only lost once. I mean, it's to play the way we were playing right now. Like I said, give the guys a lot of credit. Not the best circumstances with the road trip of being as long as it was, but I thought every game we played fairly well and deserved what we got.
The opponent's combined record as it stands right now is 25, 23, and 6. But as you heard Rod say, they were mostly going into matchups against teams that were playing well and kind of back-end heavy, meaning the better teams were at the back when you're exhausted part of the road trip. I think this road trip, I'm not going to, I promise you, I'm not going to make too much out of it. I'm not overreacting. But I think it's important for steadying the ship after an off season with a lot of change. It's important just to be able to tell everybody the Canes are still the Canes. Yeah, Shea's not around, Pesci's not around, Nason's not around, Tavo's not around, right? You can go on, but the Canes are still the Canes, right? And in a regular season game where they have the more talent, they're more than likely going to win that game. And the system's going to work, and they're going to be tough to score on. And Rod Brind'Amour's going to have the team in shape and in the right position every time you play them. And the Canes are still the Canes, regardless of circumstance. Because here is the most obvious part of the road trip, and here's why I'm so impressed by the 5-1 record. The Canes have not had the advantage in situation yet. Do you remember at the beginning of the year? They were playing games like their second game, their first game, their third game were against teams that had already played 5 and 6. Just the way the schedule worked out, they had to cancel or postpone a game for Hurricane Milton. There were games played overseas by some teams. They're getting ready for their second game, just trying to get worked into shape. Opposing teams coming in having won 4 of their last 5. And then, right as soon as they get into a little bit of a rhythm, as soon as, all right, now we've played more than a game or two, they go on the road for a brutal road trip where they're playing people in their facilities, and they know they haven't been home for a couple of days. They won't be home for a couple of weeks. They were always at the disadvantage when it comes to just situation, and they won anyway. Overwhelmingly, they won anyway. And we talk about the lot of change this offseason, right? All those guys left. Jake Gensel entertained their offer, maybe, kind of, I don't know, and then left anyway. Well, guess what? Martin Necas is producing like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Shane Gostisbehere, who they got out of free agency, as far as scoring from the blue line, would either of the guys that left for big money be scoring more than he's scoring right now? No.
Yeah, he has 7 points in 8 games. 4 goals, 3 assists.
And on the power play. How many
3
times
power play goals, yeah.
How many times last year were we worried about the power play?
In the playoffs, yes. Regular season, they were first or second.
And very early on, ironically, after a road trip through Canada, we were worried about the power play.
And the PK then.
And the PK, the special teams, we'll call it. Now they go on a road trip, ironically, with a couple games in Canada. They come back playing well on the power play and playing pretty darn well on the penalty kill. This road trip goes a long way towards just going, yes, it's not like last year. Last year, the only difference was Dmitry Orlov and Michael Bunting. And Michael Bunting was gone by the deadline, right? And so there was very little need to soothe anything. This year, it did feel like they needed some soothing. Just a little, hey, everybody relax. We're still good. Everybody relax. We're still going to do what we do. Like a band replacing like the drummer or something. Right? The first song better be one of the hits that you see at the concert, better be one of the hits, and it better sound like the hits.
Hey, Blink-182 replaced their old drummer, so there you go.
And heck.
Worked out well.
So what you're telling me is the Canes are Travis Barker?
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. One of my buddies is a drummer. Travis Barker is like his guy.
Okay.
And he posts stuff. Travis Barker is a musical genius.
Mhm.
He's one of those, like, he can hear things. He can play every different kind of music. It's unbelievable. This is neither here nor there, but just musical. I'm a fan of talent. Do you know John Baptiste?
I've heard the name.
For a while, I think he was like Colbert's like in-house band, but he's a jazz something or another. I saw a video. Is unreal. You know Taylor Swift has re-recorded a bunch of her music?
Yeah.
He just heard it. They were like playing music for him, and he was playing along or whatever, and he just went, Like his head turned like a German shepherd that's confused. And he went, is this a different recording? He heard the difference and it was unbelievable. Musicians are crazy. He heard the re-recording and knew it was a re-recording, even though Taylor did everything she could to make it sound exactly the same. He said that he heard years lived in her voice. And I was like, well, that's probably why your ears are significantly more musically talented than mine. That's kind of the Canes. I didn't even mean to go there with the analogy, but it kind of is, right? Most of us are watching the Canes this year. Like the casual fan, they're not even going to notice a big difference. It's like a re-recording, right? The Canes are still the Canes. Aho's scoring, defense is playing well. Occasionally, goalies are letting in softies. The Canes are going to be the Canes. The trained eyes are looking at it going, all right, Gossip Spears doing a little something different than Shea would have been. All right, Natchez, he stepped up his game a little bit here. All right, Kotkaniemi's distributing. Whatever the little changes are, right, the trained eyes are going to notice, the trained ears are going to hear it, but the Canes are still the Canes. Natchez, by the way, on the roadie, 6 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, 4 multi-point games, 2 game-winning goals.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a trained eye trained ear to hear those stats and go, he's playing well.
Yeah.
And he's probably trying to get paid appropriately. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on and get to a feedback frenzy, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. What if you could be debt-free by this January? And I'm talking about all that high-interest debt. Pay off all your credit cards, your car loans, consolidate everything into one lower payment. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to give Loan Pronto a call right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low 5s, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this with Loan Pronto save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity lines of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com, free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, some of your comments from the internet. I have a feeling there will be some Panthers, Diontae Johnson ones involved. It is a feedback frenzy coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I want to congratulate the Carolina Panthers for trading Diontae Johnson just so they could take the exact same player in next year's draft 12 spots earlier. The difference between the first pick in the 6th round and the 30th pick in the 5th round are nothing. And you'll get the exact same player just earlier.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better workdays happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is a good time to remind you that we're active on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We are constantly posting videos, podcast videos, a whole bunch of different content there, and we encourage you to interact. We do that often. We say, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, 99.9 The Fan, while you're there, comment, share, like, click the little alerts bell. And the reason we do that is not because we just want you to. We enjoy reading the discourse. We enjoy building a community there. We enjoy being a part of the community there. And part of the way we do that is something we call Feedback Frenzy, which is where Dennis goes through all of the comments from our YouTube live streams, the posted videos, and he brings the best comments, the best questions, the best debates, all of them to the show. And we react to them live on air. It's something we call Feedback Frenzy, and it's going on right now. Dennis, take it away.
All right, here, a little Feedback Frenzy, like you said, Tim. Let's actually go ahead and start with a little college football.
Okay.
Because yesterday we gave a lot of praise to University of North Carolina for their 41-14 beatdown they put on UVA. And Jeff said not only was it they're playing to their full potential, but he said on the road. I really think it was simplifying the defensive front, including just getting upfield after the quarterback. That really was the difference. He said, I saw simple stunts and games up front I have not seen all year. They can keep doing this. Also, by the way, Chris Aldrich also chimed in. A healthy came on Rucker as a difference maker.
It does appear that Rucker with 3 sacks and an interception, yes, difference maker. I've been to a game or two in Charlottesville, which is where that game took place at UVA. Dennis, you've been to significantly more, so I'll lean on you for this one. Tough place to play? Like, is it more hyped up? Because I know there are certain places, if you win there, it's like worth 2. There's really tough places to play. Wallace Wade has become that way, by the way.
Yeah.
Duke wins an astronomical amount of their games at home over the last 2 or 3 years. Charlottesville, UVA, is that a tough road trip?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I didn't think
it is a sit on your hands type crowd.
So
it does not get ruckus at all. Got
to bring
you
your
can
own
hear
energy.
pin drops.
Got to bring your own energy. Bring it in a suitcase.
I mean, I've been to plenty of games there where Clemson, State, Carolina, all in Scott Stadium up there in Charlottesville. They bring the noise.
So maybe it's like on the road isn't that big a deal, but it was still a wildly
It is still a rivalry game though for
UNC
though. It is still a rivalry game.
Yeah, there's that.
People actually, I will say this though, people in Charlottesville will get up for when UNC and Virginia Tech are in town.
Okay, then maybe it is more impressive there.
Yeah.
I've been there for a Virginia Tech game. It was, I wouldn't call it rowdy.
No, it really wasn't.
It was full. I'll give you that.
Rowdy for them. I'll tell you that much. Which ain't much.
All right, but yeah, still, I came in Rucker, the edge rushers, everything you said there, I'm with it. And congrats to UNC on a big win.
All right, so we had the conversation yesterday, switching gears to the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
About, hey, you know what? Maybe Bryce Young and Dave Canales, maybe they just don't get along.
Maybe they don't like each other, yeah.
Maybe they just don't get along.
Just my observation from where I sit is they don't like each other.
All right, this actually comes from J3R0M36, so we'll just go with that. Maybe it's Durham. When they cut to the sidelines, it's always Bryce and Andy talking. Rarely ever do you see Dave Canales in that picture. I wonder why. Those could be a great teaching moments for Bryce if Canales really cared.
Interesting. I will admit I haven't noticed that. Okay? I look for those sort of things. Haven't noticed that.
They also don't show us the full
Yeah.
sideline, like so we don't have a camera locked in there. We can just see that the entire time.
I don't want to crush Dave Canales for that because also he's the head coach. He's got to watch the rest of the game. He's got to be ready to call timeouts. He's got to be ready. I don't want to crush him for that too much. I do think though they don't like each other. And you know if the clock was stopped at halftime, I feel like they're not just catching up. So I'm with you kind of on that, but I'm not gonna crush a coach for, as a head coach, not being like sitting over with the quarterbacks, shooting the breeze, and just kind of chatting.
This is a fun one in that same conversation. This one comes from David Eisner. I thought this was a funny comment. Here's an alternate assessment. Canales called white bread plays because he knows Bryce can't make wheat bread, rye bread, sourdough bread, and Lord knows pumpernickel.
That I got you. I understand.
I just thought that was funny.
I like the analogy.
Love it.
And I understand the thought. Call the plays. If you got pumpernickel and you think pumpernickel is going to go for a touchdown, call pumpernickel. I don't get the kid gloves thing. I don't get it. You're an NFL quarterback. If you're out there, call the best plays. Now, I'm not saying call like the world's most, challenging Sean Payton 37-word play where it's, rocket right, alpha, lunar, 46, check, altered, alert, call, like, I'm not saying that. But trust me, Alabama's playbook wasn't simple. Like, SEC defensive coordinators get paid a lot of money. You got to outsmart them too. Bryce Young might not be the quickest dude, but he's not a dummy out there. Call the play. If he doesn't execute it, he doesn't execute it, but call the play.
Someone else on this one comes from 336, wants to know, where's the Bryceometer?
Bryceometer is low.
Yeah.
Bryceometer is low.
Are we sure he's 5'10"? We might have to bring that. If he comes back to be the full-time starter the rest of the year, we might have to bring back the Bryceometer.
The Bryceometer, it's not high.
It is.
It's but you know what? The DEFCON Alice meter, which we've been updating, the panic is high on that one too.
Are we at a 3 on that one?
No, we're at whatever's the highest you can be.
Oh, that's 1?
1. DEFCON Alice 1. I'm one more like recklessly embarrassing loss away from being pretty far out on Dave Canales, the head coach. Like, what was he brought in to do? Run a competent offense. What did they do all offseason? Exchanged resources from the defense to the offense. Made trades, made draft picks to increase the offense. What do they have to show for it? Not a great offense. That's going to be an issue for me. That is going to be – they are the third worst offense in the NFL right now. On a per-game basis, they score 15.5 points per game.
All right, we had a conversation earlier about Dan Morgan trading Diontae Johnson, Dan Morgan being the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, trading Diontae Johnson, the wide receiver, to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange. Well, does Diontae Johnson and a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 5th-round pick coming back? This actually comes from Nick G, who's an Atlanta Falcons fan. LOL, I love having the Panthers in our division. 2 laughing emojis.
You know what? That's the appropriate response for a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
By the way, we were doing the same thing to you on draft night when you just gave a quarterback $180 million, and then in the first round you drafted Michael Penix.
Yeah, and look where they are.
They're better, but imagine what they could have been with Brock Bowers on the squad.
True.
Which I think was still available. Don't quote me on that.
He was.
Going back to his original point, though, there was – so I use this as an analogy often. It's not – you don't actually care about my team, but I'm in a dynasty fantasy football league. And there was a trade that was offered. This is like someone else. And the guy immediately went, yeah, I'll do it. And then was like, whoa, wasn't an official offer. And the guy was like, yeah, how quickly I responded there probably showed you that you shouldn't do the deal, huh? Because it was like, hey, what do you think about this? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, send it in. Official handshake. So probably should have played it a little bit cooler there. I imagine the Ravens said yes to this quite quickly. And the fact that they did and the fact that your division mates are celebrating this probably shows that you shouldn't make the deal. Right? If you make a trade and all of your division rivals are like, yes, what a great deal, probably shouldn't have made the trade. So I'm with you, Falcons fan. They probably shouldn't have done it, but you're probably happy they did.
All right, this is the next one. I think this actually kind of echoes the sentiment of a lot of people. This one comes from Olene.
Okay.
Said, the trade regarding Diontae Johnson, I'm not mad at, but the compensation, I'm definitely mad at. We gave up wide receiver 1 and a 6th draft capital to move a couple of spots. We could have let him walk at the end of the season and lose no draft capital and possibly even gain a compensatory pick.
Yeah, I'm always, just to put it on Front Street, I'm always nervous to say, like, you would have gotten a compensation pick back, because I do not understand how they calculate those compensatory picks.
It's a weird formula that the NFL, I think it's the NFL Management Council, they use. They determine value of players that basically leave in free agency. So they take into account the salary, their playing time, like postseason honors, like, if they make an all-pro, things like that. Based off of also what you sign as well, like how much money you spend on the high level of players. And only 32 picks are given out of compensatory picks every year, and you can only get a maximum of 4. So it's weird every single year.
There are some years I'm like, oh, they're definitely getting compensatory picks, and they don't get any. And then there's a year where, like, I'm like, who did the Niners lose? And they have like 17 compensatory picks. It's always, and it's a year.
It's always a year later.
It's always delayed. So perhaps, that's what I'm going to say. I wish I had a better answer for you. Perhaps they would have gotten a compensatory pick, maybe probably one better than this, but also maybe they wouldn't. It's mythical and magical algorithms.
I mean, there's a potential that because of the big deal, like, for example, that Frankie Louvu signed, that you might get something for that, but also you signed A'Shawn Robinson. So, again, like, there's the balancing of a scale. It's a weird thing. But, again, if they would have gotten one, it would not have come until 2026, likely. Also, here's another one regarding that same video. This one comes from Prodigy. Why does it feel like it's impossible for any Panthers personnel to have common sense?
Why is the question?
Yeah, like, why does it feel like it's impossible for any Panthers personnel, I guess he's regarding the front office, to have common sense?
I agree with you. I don't have an answer to that. That's why you shouldn't argue with a fool, right? Because the rules don't apply to them. They can come from any direction. I honestly, right now, do you know what I think is happening?
What's that?
Every NFL team across the entire league is sending just absolute lowball offers to the Panthers right now, going, I don't know, maybe they'll accept it. They accepted that one.
Yeah.
I don't know, Chuba Hubbard for 2027 7th, and you have to give us a 4th. So what? Huh? Just say yes, Dan. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did. I'll keep racking my brain, though. I'll keep racking my brain for what the Panthers, big scheme is. And if I come up with anything, I'll let you know. There you go. Feedback frenzy. That was a little bit of a bummer to end on. Feedback frenzy here on the drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9.
We'll cheer you up.
We'll try. We'll
Yeah.
darn sure try. With the starting 5 coming up next, including some World Series talk. Paulo Banchero went bananas. Canes win. And, the Diontae Johnson trade. More coming up next. Stick around.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Bryce fits it into Leggett for a touchdown, and Xavier Leggett does the dollar bill dance, and the Panthers quiet this crowd at Mile High.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. On the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's. It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. As a ridge of high pressure develops over our area, builds in from the west, we will warm up. We did so today. Warmer tonight, 58 below. Some morning fog later for your Wednesday afternoon. The high up to 79.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today, down 154 points to 42,233. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five, and as always, we start with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It is a fastball. It's ripped down the line. It is gone. A 5th consecutive World Series game with a Freddie Freeman home run.
That's actually pretty crazy. Freddie Freeman, turns out he's pretty good at that whole World Series thing.
Not too bad at it.
Turns out the Dodgers are looking pretty good at that whole World Series thing. Do you know what is actually one of the few positives about these two teams matching up against one another for those of us that are not fans of either of these two teams? It's okay to kind of be happy for the Dodgers here, right? If the Dodgers were playing against the Guardians, right? If the Dodgers were playing against a team with a lesser payroll, I would feel obligated to root for the scrappy money ball, finding a way to compete with the big bad payrolls, big bad rich, big bad media market teams. But when it's the Dodgers versus the Yankees, it's like, all right, just you can go for either, right? They're not a ton better. You don't have to feel it's not a punching down situation. It is a back and forth situation. The Dodgers are up 3-0 in the series. Needless to say, they've put the Yankees backs against the wall. For Aaron Judge's legacy's sake, I hope he hits like a walk-off home run to extend the series. I don't think the Yankees will win, but just him having a moment that gives Yankee fans something to be happy about would go a long way towards, saving him a lot of angry things screamed outside of taxi windows as he walks down New York City all off season.
Seriously.
You just look at it, the Dodgers just got a lot of dogs playing really, really well right now.
Their bullpen has just been awesome. That's really been the difference.
Bullpen's been awesome.
Bullpen's been awesome.
But also like Mookie Betts has been awesome. Freddie Freeman has been awesome. There's some good going on there. And the Yankees, Soto's been good at times. Just Aaron Judge hasn't been there, which is part of the issue. Anything to add?
No.
Let's get to number 4.
Oh, actually, real quick.
Oh, we will add.
Game 4 tonight right here on The Fan.
We'll be right here on The Fan, 99.9 The Fan. We got so much play-by-play.
We really do.
It's live sports if you're looking for it here or on our family of networks. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Giants at the 19 at Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 7. Shotgun snap to Jones. Left tackle block. Hit from behind. Watt hit him. And Watt strips him of the ball. And it's a fumble. And Watt's recovered. Watt's recovered for the Steelers.
So, a lot of local ties in that game. Obviously, Russell Wilson, NC State, for the first part of his college career. Daniel Jones, Duke, for his college career. Dexter Lawrence, before going to Clemson, played his high school ball, grew up right here in the Triangle in Wake Forest.
Peyton Wilson
in that game. Actually, I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
I should have been looking for him.
Oh, he was out there.
Oh, man. I really enjoy watching Peyton Wilson play, and I just completely spaced on it. I was double screening it with the hockey game and everything. Man, that's frustrating. Did he do anything of note?
I don't know if he did anything super crazy in terms of making any attack, anything like that. But he was out there for defensively. A lot. I think he's been playing about 50% of the snaps. Usually they put him out there in like obvious pass situations because he's so fast.
Because he can run. There is something that we need to talk about in that game that has nothing to do with local ties, but everything to do with our frustrations with the sport that we love so much.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so difficult to just use common sense on what is and isn't a catch? George Pickens, I can't emphasize this enough, caught a touchdown. And then they watched it in replay and said, nope, not a touchdown. He caught it with his right foot down. He hopped like a full yard back, got his right foot down again. And for some reason, 2 right feet is not 2 feet. 2 right feet is not 2 feet, I guess would be the way to say that.
2 foots, but not 2 feet? 2 right foots don't equal 2 feet?
1 goose, 2 geese. It was a catch. I don't care what the rules say. It was a catch. It goes back to one of the things that'll never happen, and it's not even 100% plausible, and it's probably a bad idea, but it seems like a good idea to me every time I say it. We need 25 people in a bar watching the game, and they just need, hey, was that a catch? Raise your hand if yes. Majority rules. Because watching that, it was a catch. I don't know what else to say other than it's football and it's a catch. And it should be more simple to figure out what the heck is going on on if it's a catch or not. I agree with Jason Kelsey, who was on either the halftime or post-game show, I forget which one. And he was like, so I can catch a pass on my right foot, and if I just hop right-footed for 15 yards inbounds, that's not a catch? I believe that is true. That is not a catch.
Yeah.
That is dumb.
So dumb.
Other than that, Daniel Jones had the turnover that cost him the game. But not before he and Russell both tried to have the turnover that'll cost him the game. There were late fumbles for both of them. And Dennis, TJ Watt's pretty good.
Yeah, it's amazing how he always ends up making these big plays like late in games when it really matters the most.
TJ Watt's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. By the way, Peyton Wilson had 3 total tackles and 2 quarterback hits last night.
Who wasn't hitting Daniel
Well,
Jones
there's
last
also
night?
that.
By the way, Tyrone Tracy, running back for the Giants, looked legit. He's like a 5th rounder. Hey, wait a second.
Hold on. Hey, that's a tease.
He wasn't available in the 6th because he was taken in the 5th.
See, there it is.
Someone might want to trade up for Tyrone Tracy.
Maybe.
That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Paulo attacking Siakam, pulling his way to the basket. Score the hoop and the foul.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Okay.
Paulo Banchero kind of gets lost in the former Duke player conversation.
Yeah, kind of does.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because Orlando isn't the the biggest city or the most talked about or whatever it is. He had a bananas game last night. 119-115 win over the Pacers. That's not the part that's bananas. The part that's bananas is Paulo Banchero put up a 50-burger on just 26 shots, efficient, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. That's crazy. And there's a few analysts, right? Everyone has their analysts that they trust. I trust Ryan Russillo, formerly of ESPN, now of The Ringer, when it comes to the NBA, right? He has proven his bona fides. He 100% watches the games, which I appreciate because there's a ton of them in the NBA. And the way he responded to Paulo Banchero and the 50 burger he put up last night is, and everything else that anyone on the offense got was because of the attention that Paulo Banchero was receiving. So they put up 119. He scored 50, and he basically said all the rest were because he was putting up 50. That's what you need from your best player. He's really good. Played 40 minutes. He's really good.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those, like you said, overlooked young stars in the league.
Yes. I 100% agree with that. And it's just, I don't know, you talk former Duke guys, Zion pops up,
Sure.
Kyrie pops up. There's just
we talked a lot about Derek Lively, and especially since they made
really
a run.
like Derek Lively. He's kind of one of our guys.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's my guy.
there's the show's guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I helped him get his shoe. You know,
it's just one of those deals where somehow Paulo Banchero gets swept under the rug occasionally. Just you don't hear about him that often. And when he puts up a 50-point near triple-double, you better give him his due. So that's what that last few minutes was about. That was us giving Paulo Banchero his due. Elsewhere in that game, not much of note. Let's go ahead and jump to number 2.
Just the two of us. Natchez heads into the Vancouver zone. Natchez. He'll leave it for Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere finds Aho. He scores in overtime. Sebastian Aho, his 57th career game winner.
World Series Game 4, by the way, on Buzz tonight. Not here on 99.9 The Fan.
I misspoke. That's on me. I'll wear that one.
Just got a correction. Shout out to the corrector out there for listening and keeping us on our toes. Carolina Hurricanes. This is that wasn't number 2. The actual number 2 is the Canes won last night, which I understand many of you did not see because it ended after midnight.
Well after midnight. As someone who was working, yes.
It was one of those games where it's like you finish watching Monday Night Football. I was double screening it. You turn off the other screen and you go, Oh, we still got like half a hockey game here, so let's go ahead and settle in. Few things. One, big on accountability on this show.
Okay.
I like to make sure that we brag when we get it right, and also we acknowledge when we got it wrong. Pyotr Kochetkov has to be better. I'm somebody that is a big fan of Pyotr Kochetkov. One of the things that I very much like about Pyotr Kochetkov is he is not afraid. He is not afraid to be aggressive, to if he thinks it's the right play, even if it goes wrong, he's going to look real foolish. That doesn't bother him, which I do greatly appreciate about Pyotr Kochetkov. The next stop, I'm talking about the goalie, obviously. He's, 25 years old?
Yep.
Last year saw a significant time when Freddie was out with the injury or the blood clots. Here's the next stage for the young goalie. Situational awareness. Know when the big risk to take is the right move, and know when a little bit of being conservative is the right move due to time and score, due to the people you have playing with you. What I'm referring to is the game-tying goal that forced overtime. Pyotr Kochetkov came flying out of the crease for one of his signature, kamikaze poke check moves, right? He was going to go put a highlight on. When I talk about time and score, I mean that goal was really, really important, and you really, really didn't want it to be easy, right? You really, really didn't want it to be like a net without a goalie standing in front of it. And when I talk about the people in front of you, I think Chatfield was going to recover.
Yeah, so actually it's interesting because I'm actually watching a replay of said game right now, and that goal literally just happened in front of me. So yeah, he comes out to make the play, and actually Trip Tracy called it out on the broadcast. He's like, yeah, you got to understand risk reward. It's like, all right, you might be able to go fetch this puck that's in the middle of the face-off circle. But also, you have to understand, Chatfield's coming back, and it's just the one guy for Vancouver that's coming. It's like, you know what? It's actually safer to just sit back and play the shot, knowing that you have one of your fastest skaters coming back.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's, I think, a different situation if that's maybe Orlov, right? I think it's a different – Chatfield can go.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to know that, right? It's no different than, a quarterback knowing which of his wide receivers are big and tall and which of his wide receivers are short and fast, right? Do I need to put air on it and let him run under it, or do I need to give him a back shoulder jump ball that he can physical his way through? Your goalie has to know which of your defenders are going to get back in that situation and make it a tough shot, and which of your defenders are going to be left in the dust. It's situational awareness. It's time and score. I love that he has the ability to make those plays when it's necessary. You got to know when to pull that one out of your tool bag.
I will say this though, is that he knew immediately the way he got the puck out of the net. He's like, dang it, that's on me.
Yep.
But afterwards, he made some really awesome saves. So it's like he didn't let it rattle him.
It was,
which is a good thing.
10-minute real time. You saw the good and the bad of Pyotr Kochetkov.
Oh yeah,
you saw. But by the way, I'm still when I say I got it wrong, I'm not saying I got it wrong about Pyotr Kochetkov. I am still massive fan, and I still think it should be his net in the postseason. When I say I got it wrong, I'm just saying in that moment, the things that I like about him so much came back to bite him. So just don't do it next time, right? Just react in the moment a little bit better next time, and then make sure you go over and you thank Natchez and Gostisbehere and Aho for getting the goal in overtime, because no harm, no foul. You still got your 2 points. You still got the win. You still get to move on.
Still no update on Freddie Anderson. I think Canes were off today. I think the Canes are going to be back on the ice tomorrow, I'm assuming, but hopefully we'll get a word on Freddie Anderson. So don't be surprised if Freddie isn't healthy and ready to come back on Thursday. Don't be shocked that you get Pyotr Kochetkov at home on Thursday. And the nice thing is the Canes don't have a lot of back-to-backs coming up, so you can kind of ride Pyotr Kochetkov for a short bit if you need to.
And 4 straight games at home, which is always nice.
Hey, you know what? We have home hockey Thursday, folks.
And it's not going to start at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. Just after you do your trick-or-treating.
And then overtime.
That's the thing. I bet his teammates are probably like, hey, look, we've been out here for 6 games, 13 days. We got a flight to catch. Oh, you want to play more hockey?
Yeah, stop the puck and we get to go home.
Some of us are trying to nap here, buddy.
That is funny. Boston at home Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's Halloween. So
yeah,
hopefully it's scary for the Bruins. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Here's the snap. Dalton throws for the end zone. Brought in by Diontae Johnson, who chucks the ball into the stands. A souvenir for a lucky fan in the 200 section. And it's 6-0 Carolina.
Diontae Johnson was traded today. He was traded to the Ravens. I'm going to take you through my thought process. The first notification we got, an Adam Schefter tweet that said Diontae Johnson was being traded to the Ravens. My heart leapt. It grew 3 sizes.
I was standing right near where you were sitting when that happened, and you literally sat up out of your chair.
I was excited because I thought the Panthers, they're doing what they have to do. They're starting to sell off the veteran assets they have, especially the ones that are on expiring contracts, to make themselves better next year. They're going to try to keep pace with the Titans, who did that with DeAndre Hopkins. They're going to try to keep pace with the Cleveland Browns. We're talking bad teams that are trying to get better for next year, and the Browns did that with Amari Cooper, and the Raiders did it with Devontae Adams. They're going to try to keep pace with the teams at the bottom of the standings that are trying to get better. Look at this. It's a new day. Then I saw the compensation. It is Diontae Johnson and a 6th-round pick for a 5th-round pick. So it's not even Diontae Johnson for a 5th. It's not even Diontae Johnson for a 6th. It's Diontae Johnson for the difference between a 6th and a 5th-round pick, which, because the Ravens are good, will probably be a late 5th-round pick, and because the Panthers are not, and they just traded away a really good player, it'll be at the beginning of the 6th round. We're looking at like 15 picks. You just traded away one of the only things that you appear willing to trade away for moving up 15 picks on day 3 of the draft. Day 3 of the draft is when people's draft boards vary greatly. You might have a 5th-round pick on a player that no one else in the league has a draftable grade on a player. You might have, like it's so ridiculous. And I was thinking about this earlier. I said this earlier. I apologize if when we were talking about other sports today, it sounded like I was a little disconnected, because I couldn't help but have, the way we described it earlier, like split screen up in my brain. One side trying to do the best we could for whatever we were talking about. The other side just constantly searching for justification, for a reason, for something that made sense about this Diontae Johnson trade. By the way, still looking, nothing found yet. But earlier today, this thought popped into my head. I know why I hate this trade so much. I know why I'm so disappointed. Because let's be real. The total net loss of this trade is like, I probably would have been happy if they got a 5th rounder by itself. Right? If it was Diontae Johnson for a 5th, I probably would have said, all right, that's okay. 4th, probably would have been ecstatic. If there was some kind of a pick swap that got you you send a 5th, you bring back a 3rd or something like that, I'm in. I'm all in. It's all great. The difference between that and what they got, if we're being real, not that big of a difference. Right? They got a pick swap. I would have liked it to have been a 6th for a 4th rather than a 6th for a 5th. Not that big a difference. But the reason why it grinds my gears the way it does, the reason why I feel the need to harp on it the way I do, is because the Diontae Johnson trade from this past offseason was what I pointed to as Dan Morgan was figuring it out. That was my favorite move of the offseason. They traded Diontae Jackson, a player who by all accounts they were going to cut. Looks like it was going to be a bad decision to cut him because he has 3 interceptions, 5th in the league right now. But they were going to cut Diontae Jackson. There may have even been, if I'm remembering correctly, a report that they cut him, right? The report came out like, no, the Panthers are cutting Diontae Jackson. And then last second, they flipped it and ended up bringing in Diontae Johnson in that trade. So ended up being Diontae Jackson, and a 6th for Diontae Johnson and a 7th, I think ended up being the trade. That was my favorite move. That was, they brought in a competent NFL legit potential number 1 wide receiver, and all they sent out was a player they were going to cut anyway and a little pick swap. And I went, that's good. This trade that they just made with Diontae Johnson for the nothing pick swap that we've been talking about just took my favorite move that Dan Morgan has made since he took over and ruined it. The thing I pointed to like, hey, if he can make more moves like that one, then we're going to be A-okay. If he can make more moves like that one, if he can find value in the margins like that trade, I think they have hope. And then he cashed them all in for nothing. That's the frustrating part to me. So the Diontae Jackson trade ends up being the Panthers sent away Diontae Jackson, a 2025 sixth-round pick, and a pick that ended up becoming Logan Lee, who's a defensive lineman on the IR for Pittsburgh. And what they have to show for it is Mike Jackson, the corner, and a 25 fifth-rounder.
Yeah, because they traded away Michael Barrett, the 7th-round pick they got from Pittsburgh, to Seattle to get Mike Jackson.
It's giving back your gains. It's 3 steps forward for 3 steps back. And you're standing right where you started. And the Panthers can't afford to be standing right where they started. Heck, I'll give you 10 steps forward for 9 steps back. You're 1 step ahead of where you were, maybe. That's probably not even the right ratio. It's probably like you took 1,000 steps forward and you took 999 steps backwards. Like it looked like you were making progress with that move. I liked it, and you cashed in your chips for nothing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is actually a perfect transition. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group and Coach Pete. Coach Pete will help you regain control of your foundation for retirement. And I say this often, but he talks to me the way that basically I need to be talked to. What I mean by that is he speaks my language. He comes to me with a football analogy. Saving for retirement is like playing a football game. You want to advance down the field. You want to build your value while making sure you don't give back those gains. That's what we just talked about, right? It's trading things to increase your value, trading things to get better while protecting yourself against bad trades to go back. And I'm not talking about trades in the market. I'm using the analogy of like the football trades that we've been talking about all day. Coach Pete is the coach that can make sure you don't give up the gains you make. It's a guaranteed income, not just to retirement, but through retirement with they call it like a switch. Like you flip a switch, you turn on that income, and it's there for life. Give them a call, 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know you heard about it right here from Tim on 99.9 The Fan. Or you can text my name, Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700. It's that simple. Just text Tim to 600-700. Before we move on, we need some numbers game contestants. I need to be cheered up. Somebody call in and give me a perfect score on the numbers game. We need 2 contestants to play. The number to call in is 919-860-5326. For your chance to compete in the numbers game, and the prize for the winner today is a pair of tickets to see Nick Swardson, stand-up comedian, at Carolina Theater on November 8th. Again, the number to call, 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants. Numbers game next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Dauntless Transmissions in Raleigh is hiring. If you're an ASE certified automotive technician looking to make good money, have a guaranteed 40-hour work week, and get paid every Friday, check out this opportunity. Dauntless Transmissions is a small family-owned shop with a quality first attitude in need of technicians with experience doing minor engine work. Happy to train the right candidate further on transmissions. If you're ready to be appreciated and duly compensated for your automotive abilities, call or apply now at dauntlesstransmissions.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, everything for the exterior of your home. Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite, yeah.
I want to hear
it. So windows, doors are my favorite products. The reason why is because we are the best at installing them. You know, there's 1,000 different types of windows on the market, doors on the market, different people installing them, different companies. I don't care how good a window you get. If it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I always tell people, if you buy a submarine window, the best one in the world, and you have me put it on a submarine, you don't want to get in that submarine.
I don't want to get in the submarine either way.
I hear you. So anyway, so that's the thing I say. So it's really important that you have things installed properly. We've been around since 1961. We've got a 4.9 out of 5-star Google review ratings, over 800 reviews. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free no-obligation estimate.
It's the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online at aluminumcompany.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The contestants for today, Aaron and Clayton and Will and Fuquay. The prize for today, a pair of tickets to see Nick Swartzen, stand-up comedian. As always, we have to ask a question. Let me pick our favorite answer to see who goes first. We'll start with Aaron and Clayton. Aaron, are you there? Aaron, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I got you now. So the question for today is inspired by the Ravens, who just got a wide receiver that might help them win the Super Bowl for nothing. What's the best deal you ever got? What's something you bought, something you traded for, yard sale find? What's the best deal in absolutely any stretch of life that you've ever found?
Yeah, last night I got a free pizza for no reason. Whoever was supposed to pick it up, they didn't make it in time. And the place just gave it to me free of charge.
Unbelievable timing on that one, a free pizza.
So I take it.
Can't beat the price. We'll go to Will and Fuquay. You are up next. Will, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Will. The question is, what's the best deal you ever got? The best steal, the best yard sale, the trade that went your way. What's the best deal?
I'm going to say last year I got traded, keep this in fantasy football, traded Christian McCaffrey, or I got Christian McCaffrey for a couple bumps on my bench, taking advantage of the guys that don't know ball.
All right. Calling up the mark in the league. Do you know what's going to make me feel sad about that? I think in the real NFL, the Panthers are the people that don't know ball that other people are taking advantage of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dennis, which one Dennis, which one is the winner there?
It's hard to deny free pizza.
Free pizza. All right. Aaron and Clayton, you are the winner. All that means is you get to go first. Will, go ahead and stay on the line. You'll have your chance. Aaron, Are you there? You there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, here are the categories you get to choose from. NFL, A, group of guys, all players with the last name that starts with A. NFL, these guys, all players whose last name starts with D. Baseball, super center fielders, or NHL, Hurricanes only.
NFL A names.
All right, these are all players whose last name starts with the letter A. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope, I got it.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Troy Aikman, Dallas Cowboys.
8.
Correct. Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers.
81.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
81.
Incorrect. Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers.
Pass.
Derek Anderson, Carolina Panthers.
28.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
82.
Incorrect. Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers.
I know Brandon Ayuk. No. That's terrible.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of those that I say and you go, oh. Ayuk wears number 11.
11. I knew it was something. Would have won it.
Tutu Atwell, we would have accepted 5 or 15 with the Rams, and Derek Anderson with the Panthers. He's a guy that comes up on these lists kind of a lot. He wore number 3 with the Carolina
I'm thinking
Panthers.
of Derrick Henry.
Derrick,
you got it.
The Panthers could only wish to have Derrick Henry on the squad. All right, so you got, what was that? You got one? You got Troy Aikman. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Will and Fuquay. Will, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories remaining are NFL, D's guys, all players whose last name starts with D, baseball, super center fielders, or NHL, Canes and Whalers only.
Let's go NFL B.
All right, all players whose last name starts with the letter D. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can because there's 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Andy Dalton, Carolina Panthers.
14.
Correct. Stephon Diggs, Houston Texans.
3.
Incorrect. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams.
99.
Correct. Vernon Davis, San Francisco 49ers.
85.
Correct. Harry Douglas, Atlanta Falcons.
Pass.
Stephon Diggs, Houston Texans.
1.
Correct. Harry Douglas, Atlanta Falcons.
88.
Incorrect. Harry Douglas, Atlanta Falcons.
I got no idea. 85.
Incorrect. Harry Douglas, Atlanta Falcons.
2.
Incorrect. Harry Douglas, Atlanta Falcons. You were in the right location until you jumped to 2. Harry Douglas is a little older than that. I don't think you could be a single digit at that point. He wore number 83, so you were close. 4 is still plenty for the win. Not a perfect score that I was hoping for, but still plenty for the win. So I've got a good deal for you. How does it feel to have a pair of tickets to see Nick Swartzen at Carolina Theater on November 8th?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, there's the deal. All you have to do is stay on the line and give Dennis some of your information. Man, I thought we were going to get it there. Okay.
I mean, can they combine for a perfect score? Like 1 and 4? They get 5 combined?
Team? I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
We might. By the way, I know how many people listen to the numbers game. I know how many people like the numbers game because when I'm out and about, so many people come up to me and say like, "Oh my gosh, that guy the other day, he didn't know that Joe Montana wore number blah blah blah." I also really do appreciate when people come up with like new ideas. A few have told me that it should be instead of the numbers game, it could be the college game where we say pro athletes and you have to tell us what college they went to. Which I thought was funny, and maybe we'll do like a special week of that. We'll do like University Week or something like that. Tag team would be interesting, where it's like you get 2 callers on the line, you're playing as a team, and we go to caller 1, caller 2, caller 3 for each number, and you have to get like say 10 in a minute rather than 5 in 30 seconds. I don't know. I don't hate that move though. There's something to be said there. So we'll keep spitballing. But right now the numbers game is fun the way it is, and we have the numbers game live and everything else. It's a fun time. Speaking of fun times, please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. While you're there, there's obviously all of our thoughts on the Diontae Johnson trade, all of our thoughts on everything else going on in sports kind of constantly. All of our podcasts get posted there. We'd love for you to subscribe. We'd love for you to comment on the videos you watch, like them, pass them along to your friends. Like I said, we'd greatly appreciate it. Kind of just a personal favor from me to you. In the meantime, we have Katharine Eberhardt, who stopped by the studio earlier today. She is the Chief Marketing and Development Officer of North Carolina FC Youth. It is there's a big showcase coming up, youth soccer in the area, that's bringing literal millions of dollars to our area. So that's big news. That's great for the community. But on top of that, in the conversation, we do get into the things Katharine is doing along with NCFC Youth to promote youth sports and youth soccer in the area. You will never find somebody that is more pro youth sports than me. So I was happy to give her some time of this show to let everybody know how they can help. So if you're a fan of youth sports, if you're a fan of sports, if you're a fan of the lessons you can learn in sports, you want to stick around because Katharine Eberhardt, Chief Marketing and Development Officer of North Carolina Football Club Youth, joined us earlier, and that conversation is coming up next. So go ahead and stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
I asked AI about the Panthers season, and to sum it up in slang, basically it said they're trying to play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. The defense giving up freebies like it's a charity event. Fans low-key bummed just scrolling through highlights of better days. It's a whole vibe of, please make it stop. AI ain't wrong.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
If you're like most Americans, you have a ton of credit card debt, and you're paying insane interest rates on that debt every month. Same for car loans and personal loans. Stop getting ripped off. Let Loan Pronto consolidate that debt for you at a significantly lower rate using the equity in your home. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line of Credit can get you up to $500,000 so you can consolidate your debt in as fast as 5 days. Their average client saves over $1,000 every month by doing this. Right now is the best time to act. With an Express Equity Line of Credit, you can access up to 90% of your home's equity, usually without an appraisal. Don't put it off. Get your financial house in order for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now to see what you can save. It's a free quote, and there's no credit pull, unlike those other guys. Call now, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Now joined in studio by Katharine Eberhardt, Chief Marketing and Development Officer of NCFC Youth. We're here to talk about NCFC Youth's VisitRaleigh.com Showcase Series coming up here in the not-too-distant future, right at the beginning, kind of middle of November, I guess would be the way to say that. Katharine, thank you very much for taking the time. We'll start with the community impact. Players, families, supporters. There's a whole bunch of people coming to the Triangle. What does that do for an event like this?
Yeah, that's right. So in those 4 weekends during our NCFC Youth Showcase Series, we're going to have upwards of 1,600 teams that are coming in from across the country. We've got 33 states represented, teams coming in from Canada. So you can just imagine the influx of people that are coming, not just the players, but we've got referees, coaches, college coaches that'll be coming in to recruit, in addition to those folks that are traveling with these players. So we expect there to be 75,000 visitors in the area, and the CVB calculates that generates an estimated $28 million in economic impact. And we've been doing this event since the early 80s, so you can only imagine the compounded effect this has had on the community.
Now, I played college sports. I've obviously a lot of youth sports parents always want to talk to me. You said the word recruiting. You said college coaches. That's going to have, right now there are people like slamming on the brakes and pulling over. 1,000 college coaches?
Yeah, so we'll be pushing 1,000 registered college coaches. Those teams are coming from D3, D2, D1, junior colleges, and really gives the opportunity for these high school age kids to showcase their talent if that's their choice to play at a higher level.
We're talking with Katharine Eberhardt, Chief Marketing and Development Officer of NCFC Youth. I'm looking at the schedule here of the upcoming Showcase Series. November 9th and 10th is the Girls Junior Showcase. November 16th and 17th, the Boys Junior Showcase. Then in December 5th through 8th is the Girls College ID Combine and Showcase. And December 12th through 15th, the Girls that's probably boys, I would assume, College ID Combine and Showcase. What are the ages and how do the two differ?
Yeah, so the junior showcases are for our younger age group, so the U11 to U14 age groups, and that's your traditional tournament style play. So you've got your 2 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday morning, and if you advance, you play Sunday afternoon. For the older weekends, the showcase style events are 1 a day. So those teams are actually coming in earlier. So those visitors are here for an extended period of time. They play 1 game a day, which allows them to play at their best, at their peak, and their bodies are a little bit older at that age, so they kind of get that extra recovery time to not put 2 games in 1 day. And so they get 3 games no matter what, and that's when the college coaches are kind of there to recruit and check in to see who's out there and who's available.
Katharine Eberhardt joining us here. Now, I read a little bit of your bio. You played in this, went all the way up, played in college. Now you're back, obviously, in the administrative role. Have you felt the boom in soccer here in the area, whether it's the Courage, whether it's the college teams? It does feel like, I don't know, within the last handful of years, the interest is shot way up.
I have, and it's really fun to be full circle here. So I grew up playing in the club, played in these tournaments, as you said, and those tournaments have grown. So when I was playing, it was 1 weekend, boys and girls on the same weekend. Now you're talking about 4 weekends, 1,600 teams across those weekends, separated by age group, gender. So that in itself is just a good visual of how much the sport has grown. On a local level, we've seen it happening. We've got 17,000 players that are playing in our club right now that are just finishing up their fall season, and that's across all levels of play. Most people don't know that our recreation program, which is that intro level, or you just want that low commitment of one practice a week, game on the weekend, no experience required, that's our largest program. So that's about 10,000 kids. And so you have kind of that misconception sometimes that it has to be that elite level player, but we've really seen the grassroots side grow. We saw a lot of growth coming out of the pandemic, just because I think people were ready to get outside and play, and we were a sport that was when they were ready and they felt like it was safe to do so, they could make that choice. But as someone who grew up here, back in the day, we could practice on a full field. Especially on the girls' side, we had 1 team in an age group, maybe 2, and now you look at the girls' side and boys. But to see the growth on the girls' program, especially just as someone who grew up playing, to see how many more girls are participating is really like awesome to see, and to see that girls are benefiting. I'm coaching my daughter's 1st grade team now, so like really full circle moment to try to teach her kind of what can happen through the game.
All right, I'm going to use this now for the next couple of minutes just selfishly. And we're talking with Katharine Eberhardt, Chief Marketing Executive and Development Officer at NCFC Youth. They have an upcoming showcase for some of the best youth soccer players from around the country and as you mentioned, Canada. So I coach a 3- and 4-year-old soccer team.
Oh, man.
Right now we're just in, like, as long as they're kicking it, we're doing great.
Yep.
You said 1st grade. What's the next step? What should I be prepared for? How can I make sure these kids, fall in love with the sport and get all the benefits from it?
I mean, first and foremost is fun, right? And I think as I say former athlete, I'm not out there as much anymore playing the game, but it's hard to put that competitive spirit aside and coach these young kids, but really kind of pull yourself back and recognize why they're out there, and they're out there to make friends, to do something fun, to push themselves in a way.
And to win at all costs.
I know.
To bury your opponent.
But are you?
No, not really.
I mean, it's
we don't keep score, but I know
we don't keep score, and neither do the kids. But it's the truth is, that is a piece of it. And if you tell a recreation kid, whether they're 7 or they're 18, that it's not competitive, that's a lie, right? We're here to compete, and it's just at that right level. And so, to give you any tips, it's obviously fun, and making sure that these kids are out there, that they're high-fiving before practice, that they're laughing, they're smiling. And at that age, I mean, that's all you can really ask for. And then from there, it instills that love of the game, and then you hope that they want to do more and want to give more.
And that brings us back to the showcase, right? Because that is competitive. These are high-level athletes. You don't drive or fly or bus as long as they're going to into our area unless they're competing for something. Kind of what's on the line when they're duking it out.
Yeah, so, these tournaments provide a great opportunity for teams to see other teams that they don't normally see during league play. Because as we all know, you grow up and you get your in-state rivalries. You've got your Charlotte, your Greensboro, your Wilmington, and those are great to have. But you see those people a lot and the same players over and over year after year. And so tournaments like this allow these teams to kind of cross state lines, so to speak, and play against people from different places. And other teams get to travel to new places. And that was a huge part of growing up in the sport, is just opening your eyes to different parts of the world. And so, what's at stake is just obviously high competition and bragging rights. Like at those older events, there's no trophies. I mean, you can win your bracket and you can go 3-0. But for a lot of these kids, it's showcasing their talent for that next level. And they want to be seen. They're contacting college coaches. I mean, the whole landscape of sports is changing with portals and NIL stuff. And so for these athletes, it's a huge opportunity. And for some, it may be their only chance to be seen. And so we want to make sure that from our standpoint, we are providing the best experience, not just on field, but making sure the college coaches are there, making sure the fields are great and ready for them, and making sure, and our city does a great job of welcoming these teams in, because we know that when they're here, it is about what's on the field, but it's about their experience outside the field as well.
I want to talk about the cash here element a little bit here. I'll speak for, I believe, most people. I think youth sports are important, right? I think most of the things that I like about myself either came from my parents or I learned them on a youth field somewhere. The overcoming adversity, teamwork, all those things. And it's heartbreaking when somebody can't participate for financial reasons or something like that. Again, in my notes here, NCFC Youth has provided over $400,000 in financial aid to ensure all kids can access the game. Fundraiser will contribute to the goal of providing over $500,000 this year. How can we help? I mean, how can someone out there that sees the importance in an event like this, or sees the importance in the, as you mentioned, 10,000 maybe less elite, more recreational players have that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because we are committed to making sure that the game is accessible. And one barrier that we can help with and remove is financial constraint. And we are just coming off of the heels of a fundraiser at the Angus Barn last week where we raised $200,000 to support financial aid and outreach programs. And that allows us to grow the game to these kids. And I'll be the first to say, 11 years ago when I started at the club, financial aid, it was one of those things that you almost had to ask for. It wasn't quite easily available. And now we promote it. We want to make sure that everyone knows that it's an equitable process to access, that there's no, you have to ask or you have to do this or that, but it's very clear and it goes out with every registration. And so we want people to know that it's there. And we kind of put our commitment behind it this year in our 50th anniversary year to make sure that people know that we are committed to this. And so, people can donate all year round. We have wonderful corporate sponsors that support us throughout the year, individual donors, and then events throughout the year, like a golf tournament in April as well. Got to get you out there for that. But it's great ways for us to raise funds to recycle back into the community at all levels of play.
You want to see the ugly part of my competitive nature?
You don't have to be good.
Earlier?
You don't have to be good.
Golf course is a great way to bring that out. Katharine Eberhardt joining us here, Chief Marketing and Development Officer of NCFC Youth. We are here to talk about the VisitRaleigh.com Showcase Series. So before we let you go, details, if people want to watch, if they want to be involved, what do they need to know?
Yeah, so it starts November 9th and 10th. We'll kick off with the Girls Junior Showcase. We will probably be on every field that you find those 4 weekends. So if you're interested in coming out and checking out Youth Soccer Tournament, WRL Soccer Park is the hub of activity. Parking is a little crazy, so maybe steer away from that one. But any field you come upon, from Mebane, Hillsborough down to Rocky Mount Wilson on some of those weekends, is going to be jam-packed of soccer families. But at the same time, those same weekends, we are also hosting the ACC Championships. So we help host the ACC men's and women's championships. This year, because of the expanded ACC, the men's semifinals will be here on that Thursday or Friday of the Boys Junior Showcase weekend. And then we host the NCAA College Cups as well. So if you can't get to the youth games, those events are also great opportunities to check out some of the best soccer in the country. And then obviously if your kid is interested, we're already signing up for spring soccer here.
Perfect. And like I said, I believe youth sports are important. So let's stay in touch and use this show to get the word out.
That's right. I appreciate it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And I seriously do mean that. That conversation, obviously, from earlier today with Katharine Eberhardt. But, I mean, as I said, I think youth sports are important, and they are putting their money where their mouth is, as far as $400,000, $500,000 towards getting kids that wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to participate in youth team sports. And then in addition to that, bringing in $28+ million into our area through the showcase. That's stuff I care about. So check them out. NCFC Youth Soccer. What they're doing over there is pretty cool.
It's a lot of coin.
It is. And money talks, right?
Oh, yeah.
I volunteer and do the whole, I'll be the coach of the youth sport thing, but you look at the jerseys, you look at the equipment, you look at the field rentals, you look at all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, the volunteers help, but you need the cash too, and they're working on it. So, again, Katharine Eberhardt, Chief Marketing and Development Officer of NCFC Youth. That event coming up in November and in 4 weekends on into December if you want to check it out.
I think everyone played youth soccer at some point, right?
I did it for 1 year, but I think I would be longer if I did it now because it was in the fall, and like tackle football started when I was like 8, and so I did 1 year of soccer, then went straight into tackle football. I don't think tackle football really starts that young much anymore. Everybody does the flag.
I don't know. It's weird. I think, I started playing tackle football 4th grade, so I was 9.
I was 3rd grade.
4th, 5th, 6th. So I did flag football the year before that, or for 2 years, and I also did soccer too, and I did baseball. Yep. I did all the things.
I'm with my 3.5-year-old son. We're gonna try everything. Like I want to put him in every sport and see what he likes, and hopefully one sticks, because I think the lessons learned are important. And if it's soccer, it's great, because I know they have a great system here for the youth soccer coming from NCFC Youth.
Well, when he's ready for hockey and lacrosse, you hit me up. You let me know. I got you.
The thing is, I have like a web of people throughout like the entire East Coast. If he likes this sport, I'm sending him there for 2 weeks. If he likes this sport, I'm sending him there for 2 weeks. Whichever one he likes, we're gonna have some fun with it, and hopefully he'll have some kind of passion for it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close here. That was an optimistic end of the show, which I'm glad we had.
Yeah, you needed it, Tim.
Because the Diontae Johnson trade had me in a bad mood for the entire show. And you're going to hear some of that bad mood to start Overdrive. We're replaying the initial reactions to the Diontae Johnson trade for the Panthers. If you don't know the details of it, stick around. And then we'll end optimistically again, because Sebastian Aho is leveling up, and I'm really excited for that for the Canes. That'll end Overdrive. Tonight, World Series Game 4 on the Buzz. Just pay attention to our family of networks. A lot of cool stuff going on. Subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, please, and thank you. Until tomorrow, when the show is back at 3, have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.